TV.
My phone has and sitting right there on my table.
There.
You got it.
It's going on to YouTube right now, Henry.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
Okay.
12. Somebody's still. What happened to my? I think it's me. Mine's. That's bright, right? I have the volume down and the no mute on the mute on, so.
No, I just lost it. You have volume all the way down?
I had the volume all the way down
No,
and the mute
recording,
on
I see.
and it was,
You do.
I'm just not trying.
What do you do that on?
Recording that video.
We're gonna be in
It's
the
a recording system. Sends it to OCA.
Yeah, so it's not video yet.
Okay, so where are we at?
Everybody on?
All right, if everybody's ready to go,
Yeah.
I'd like to call the annual financial audit meeting in the town of Hector to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Purpose of this meeting is for us to do an internal audit of the town of Hector as prescribed by the state of New York. This is performed annually. We're going to go through each department and review the processes as prescribed by the state of New York. We still have an echo. And we're going to start with the Justice Court records. And this is straightforward formula for anybody who doesn't remember. We have a bunch of questions and then we just check yes or no whether or not it has been, we only have one master of these, but we only need to submit one. I kind of thought maybe somebody could answer and somebody could mark it.
Here, I'll do it.
Okay.
All right, so that's the one, you need to sign that one and then you'll end up signing this one with
With that one.
that one, because the court one, because we have to, I think we have to send it in, so. The court one,
Okay.
that one needs to be signed, so they can get a copy. And then this we can sign on the top for our minutes record, please.
Okay.
All right, then we start. We're gonna talk about your cash receipt book first. Our pre-numbered receipt forms issued for all collections.
Yes,
Can you tell us more about that?
we have these documents right here. It's a receipt book. And they're all pre-numbered. There's 3 copies. It's like yellow, a white, and a pink. Pink stays in the book, yellow copy goes in the file, and then the white one goes to paying, it's the person that pays the fine or surcharge.
Right? You just answered, are duplicate copies kept for court records? Yes, they are. And our receipts recorded up to date.
Yes.
And what is your last recorded receipt? Oh, I see it's already in here, actually.
Yeah, I filled it in on the form.
December 20th, 2024, $150. All right, is the receipt book maintained in a manner to identify date received, payer, and the amount of fines, fees, bails, and other categories of collection?
Yes.
And are deposits identified?
Yes,
And are duplicate deposit slips kept for court records?
they are. 12 months.
I took 12 months worth?
Yeah, attached to each
Wow.
bank, attached to each bank statement, you'll see the process that we do for a deposit. There's a sheet that we do internally for the deposit, and then you see the bank deposit slip attached to the back of the bank
It
statement.
looks like you're checking off that each check that you brought is actually identified.
Right, but
We have
there's
to
more
make
attached.
copies.
If he lifts that page, there's a sheet we use when
I
we.
can approach.
Approach the bench.
So here's a list of deposits that are made. The cash deposits are on the right side. And the credit card deposits, you have to do the close out on the machine, that gets written there.
And that's paid through our website, or you're able to run a card yourself, or how does that work?
Someday through the website. But right now, we just have a machine in the back.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Jay runs the.
I love it.
Right,
There's a-
there is a. Yeah, yeah, the credit cards, there is a fee involved that goes to the state, so the state provides the credit card machine.
Oh, okay.
So the fee goes as a separate charge on their credit card and goes straight to the state. And the fine stays with us, so.
Alright,
If anyone wants to see that, we did thanks.
Yeah, we can
Rebecca,
send
good
it.
job. Well done. Did deposit amounts agree with your cash receipt?
Yes.
I saw the photocopy to prove it. Are your deposits made within 72 hours of collection? Is that a state regulation?
State regulation, yes, we do our best. It's usually on the court on Wednesdays, so by Friday we give them.
Uh-huh, 72 hours.
Yeah, we deposit once a week as things come in. Some weeks we don't get anything but credit cards in, so.
So you don't actually have to go.
Right. So it's only when we have cash or money order, we have to go to the bank.
And that's what we accept as a court, cash, money
Cash,
order, and credit
money
card,
order, credit card,
not personal check.
no person.
No,
Oh, interesting. And our deposits recorded up to date.
yes,
And I see the last deposit was $350 on 12/31/2024. Is the receipt book totaled and agree with your deposit slips?
yes, we do a cash book report that, it's attached to each one of these monthly statements. We also have completed a final one, I believe.
Yeah, you should have, I gave you.
That's the final year.
So this is for the whole year, and that matches up with our deposits, matches up with.
What happens when somebody doesn't pay?
Well, there's process there. We don't have much. We don't have a recourse, so to speak, to leverage anymore. So what happens is if you don't pay, we can send you a letter and say, hey, please, a
But in the
reminder.
past, we had more.
Yeah, we used to be able to haul them back into court and say, hey, here's the scoop, you've got to pay your fine. We could suspend, we used to be able to suspend the licenses, now you just get a letter from us that's a reminder.
And that was a New York State change?
Yeah, it was a change with the
Would you like to
state and they essentially stopped our ability to have that leverage, so. But we're still, we have that program that I'm still working on, but this is the year it's gonna happen. The collections from essentially a year and a half to 2 years back.
It's more than that.
No, I mean, that's the starting point. It's within less than a year, you just get your nice
Yeah,
letter.
yeah.
If it's over a year that you owe us money, then you're gonna get the civil judgment.
Recently had people come in from like 2011 and 12, paying up their fines that have been sitting around for that long.
Well, good for them.
Yeah.
Well done.
So is there no consequence whatsoever, like? I mean, people literally,
No,
Yeah, we don't have
The
any
state took it
real
away.
ability to,
what was their reasoning? I mean,
people can't afford to pay. So what we could do, if it was a traffic ticket, we could suspend their driver's license. So the state in its infinite wisdom said that's putting undue stress on the people that owe the fines. So therefore, we can no longer suspend. If they had just taken away the fee for suspension, but the fee to get the suspension lifted was $70 per ticket that we suspended. So we generally only suspended one. We didn't suspend every one. If they had 4 tickets, we only suspended on one. But when the state took that away, our only other way to do anything is a civil judgment, and that takes considerable amount of
It's a
time and
process,
effort
yeah.
and it's a process that's gotta be followed to do it, so.
But we're working.
Huh.
It's a good thing, take time.
The first one we sent out, we did get actually an updated address on the guy, so.
Huh.
It's in Texas.
Yeah,
Oh.
and he's still ignoring us.
And so in that scenario, a civil judgment in New York State really doesn't matter. It's a-
Yeah,
it doesn't
sure.
help, so.
Huh.
But, you know, you can try, but it costs money to do that stuff,
Right.
send out the letters. But I think it's money well spent, it's just a program and a process. that we're gonna- 25.
Huh. Let's talk about your cash disbursements book, which says in parentheses checkbook.
Yes.
Are pre-numbered checks used for all cash disbursements?
Yes, they are.
Uh-huh.
You wanna say it?
Yeah, please. Are all checks signed by the justice?
Yes,
Only one on the account.
Are you the only one who's able to sign them?
I am, yes.
What would happen if you were to become debilitated or unable to
I
do
think there's
that?
a provision that allows the supervisor, because when Dale James passed away, Elvin could sign the check, so there's some sort of a provision, the town supervisor could sign the check.
Oh,
Well, it starts way back to 22.
That's when he
That's
started.
right.
oh,
All right, I got the point.
there's a lot of checks in here. It's gonna take you a long time to go through all those.
I'm around.
Holy
Well-
cow.
He generally only writes one a month,
Oh,
Yeah.
because
We write the fine payments and all that.
for
to
the
town.
supervisor,
Yeah,
once a
the
month.
supervisor, once a month, that's the only real reason we have that checkbook, I don't. I'm not
Right, what else?
Buying stuff with it.
How,
The
yeah,
court doesn't have to buy
Moving along.
your own office supplies or anything, I mean, that's. the
well,
only
we
other
charge,
thing.
that's through the general fund, there's the line item in the general fund, that's where any court supplies and stuff are purchased from. Out of his budget, in the general fund.
I was just kind of shocked that you don't take out the check stubs and put them in the years file.
Well, we could do that, but it's not
I guess.
it's not really taking up.
Right,
a
5
ton of
years
room.
now, and you still have this many in the front, so you probably have enough room, but if you have a lot of them, like.
Yeah, I would
take
say-
them out, but take them out, put them in 2024 and.
Let's talk about canceled checks returned electronically. Are the canceled checks returned electronically with bank statements and kept with the records?
Yes, they are.
Deposits in the check.
And it's on the,
Very-
So-
yeah, it's on the back.
Just asking a
Monthly
question.
statement.
This particular one.
Uh-huh. Nice.
So.
Are checks recorded up to date?
Yes,
And I see that it's already been entered, the last recorded check was 12/2/2024 for $3,975. Check number is 1029.
payable to the town. supervisor.
Let's talk about the bail receipt book.
Yes.
Tell us about the bail receipt book, what is that?
Um. We have a,
They're all in the same bail, and the receipts for court,
yes,
they're all through the same receipt book.
they're the
So
same.
the
receipt
exact
book,
same as,
But we have a separate check.
we have a check separate, yeah, but the
Checkbook
receipt
and a
book is the
separate
same.
Statements. Bail is,
So all other different, how is it divided, I mean. Other payments you're receiving are for different kinds of, judgments.
generally bail isn't paid here. Bail is usually paid down at the sheriff's office, and then they send us a check here.
Mhm.
We deposit it in our bail account. And then when the cases come to whatever point that the bail is either released or used for fines, at that point, we process it. And sometimes I have to write a check back to the person that posted the bail. Sometimes we
And
have to just apply it to fines, but we have to get, we get permission to do all that stuff. when
And-
we Posted the bail. May not be the defendant that
Right,
posted the
the
bail.
last one took 3 checks to return the bail because the defendant himself paid,
Posted.
posted part of the bail, and then a relative posted part of the bail. So we had to return bail to two different people, but in the end, it ended up 3 checks because the defendant chose to use part of his bail to pay his fine. So we had to write it was $4,201, I don't know where I won, but $4,201 bail. And we had to write a check for, I think it was 240 something was the fine that came to the court, and then a check to the defendant himself, and then a check to the relative for what the relative paid. So
Because bail is separate, because we're actually holding it for the person.
it's held by
Yes.
name, yes.
Huh.
Yeah, it's held by name,
Huh.
basically.
For the
Okay.
purpose of securing someone's.
Sure.
insurance.
Sure. For your bail receipt books, a pre-numbered form used for all collections, and you had said they're done at that sheriff's office. Are duplicate copies kept for court records?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, and when we get the bail from the sheriff's department, right where Rebecca is, I think that's a copy
Sheriff.
from the sheriff. So that's what we get. That particular thing is what we get from the sheriff's department, saying who the bail is for and what the bail amount is. And then we keep a copy of that in each defendant's file along with the receipt we write out of our receipt book for that bail for that person. So it's like about a 3-step process.
When I see the last recorded receipt was on August 9th, 2024 for $4,301.
Yes, and that one was just paid out in November or December.
Is the bail book maintained in a manner to identify date received, payer, and the amount of bail collected? Are deposits identified? And our duplicate deposit slips kept for court records.
We do the same thing for the bail account as we do for the regular court account.
It's the same
Yeah.
style book, you just have
It's not a different book, it's the same book.
The same book. The money in,
Uh-huh,
if it comes in, goes through this receipt book. All money into the court goes through this receipt book. How it gets applied to the account is either the bail account or in the fine account.
So is any of this, like the receipt book is paper, hard copy, is there anything that's computerized with it? You'll make an entry in
Yeah.
in
so-
case like I'm looking at all this paper and thinking, oh my God, fire.
Yeah,
Something,
no,
you know?
everything is, so when we do a case, the end of the night or the following day,
Yeah.
either Jane or I will enter in the information
Mhm.
into our
Yes.
court system, archaic thing, but it works. And it produces reports like this. We have a cash book in, so we have a physical copy, enter the information in,
Right,
electronic
so if
copy.
that got destroyed by fire or flood, you'd have the digital
There's a backup,
information.
there's a backup that
Yeah.
goes to the state. We back up that court
Oh,
program
yeah.
to the state.
Yeah.
I don't know, we probably do it 3 or 4 times a month. We back up the program to the state, so.
Yeah, great,
And then I have to report to the Office of Court Administration at the end of the month. I have 10 days to do it. For the previous month, and I have to, confirm that the cash book receipts in our computer here match up with the money that I'm writing the check for to the town. And then I have to sign my name on this report, and then they give me a statement about, 10 days after that, I get this thing in the mail.
Okay, and then we get a bill,
Then you get a bill quarterly.
I get a bill, no, monthly,
Monthly?
saying what. He took an X amount, we owe them Y
Mhm.
amount.
Mhm.
so the
To the
court,
state.
Yeah,
the
to
court
the state.
money
To the
gets
state.
paid to the supervisor, and then the supervisor pays it. to the state.
He submits it direct,
I submit the report to
Yes.
the state Office of Court
Right.
Administration
But the
through a
Money
comptroller's
comes
office.
to the supervisor.
yeah, the money comes
And
to
then the
supervisor.
supervisor writes a check once a month to the
Yes.
state.
Right, but we had the top report that he's got right there is what we get back, which shows where the money goes. So,
Okay, I'll text you or come in when you come back and we can do it anytime.
So this sequence right here is, this is the report that gets printed out. It's the check I write. And then a few days later, what's that? I sign it, I get some help with it.
Somebody else's fingers actually wrote the check.
But I make sure that the numbers match up, because these are all the cases we did that month. This is the report, I signed the bottom of every page. So that's 1 month's worth of transactions. There's the check amount,
And that's 2 court nights in each month.
and then we should add up 2220, 2220, 2220. So that's.
So it's actually checked by the state every month. You send in
Yes.
a report and just send the money, so it's not like.
Right,
It doesn't
Right,
add
and-
up over
and-
time
and what that does is, it used to be, we mailed the monies to the state, and then the state would send the town back their portion. Well, now the town keeps their portion, the town does not pay,
You have to wait.
so the town gets that money every month that is on the town portion. So on your report, you see that under the fines and fees collected, you see the town portion, the county portion, and the state portion. That town portion always stays here. It doesn't go out from here and then come back.
Do deposit amounts agree with bail receipts?
Yes, they do.
And are deposits made within 72 hours of collection?
Same answer.
And are deposits recorded up to date?
Yes.
And it says last deposit was $4,201 on 8/9/2024. We're gonna talk about the bail disbursements book, the bail checkbook. Are pre-numbered checks used for cash disbursements?
Yes,
Are all checks signed by the justice?
yes,
Are canceled checks returned with bank statements and kept with the records?
yes, they are. Should be on the back of this.
Does the bail has a separate, that smaller check is the bail's account.
Yes, yeah, there's not a lot of activity,
Yeah.
but they do.
Yeah, there. Some months the bank statement dollar amount doesn't change because there was nothing that came in and nothing went out.
Sure. And our checks recorded up to date.
Yes.
And the last recorded check is entered already as check number 1013 on November 22nd, 2024. The amount of $2,700. And the next section is bank reconciliation. Are bank accounts reconciled promptly after bank statements are received?
Yes, so when we get the Chemung Canal statement, either bail or Chemung or regular account, Jane and I will go through it, double check each other's math here. As it come up with the next statement. And the only variation there, guys, is some months we make a deposit on like 8/29 or 10/30. Sometimes it
Or-
doesn't post until the following month, so you
Or
have to true up.
Right, or depending on where the last day of the month falls, sometimes that deposit isn't done till the first or second of the following month. So I think there were 3 months in there that there was an outstanding deposit, and that's shown on the back of the bank statement when we reconciled.
Excellent. Additional supporting records is a list of bail maintained.
Yes, it
Yes.
was in that front of the bail book.
That's how many
Got
people
that
right
list,
now.
and then we have one.
There is one in the computer, but the one in the computer is not accurate because there are old amounts of bail that show up in the computer system where the bail was returned, but whoever was judge at the time didn't
Correctly enter.
enter the return. So that's a stack that's gotta be figured out and sorted out, and I have most of it figured out, but it means pulling the file from whatever year it was and trying to go in and see what the judge did or didn't do in that old file. So it's time consuming to make the computer list be accurate with what we currently have in the bank.
There's not that many, it's just a matter.
Jesse says, hey, I can do it in 30 seconds.
Yeah, there's probably 8 or 9 of them.
Under,
Not even 30 seconds, like however long that takes.
Is a record of uncollected installment payments maintained?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, you have a report that does show what, everything that is outstanding that's in the system.
Yeah, for 2024, there's 42 cases with fines still to $9,700, 97.36. So, and sometimes people just, we give them time to pay. I have to, when I actually do the case at the end of my spiel, I have to say, do you need time to pay, or how much time do you need to pay? Some people pay right on the spot. Generally, I gave them 60 days, 90 days, depending on what the circumstances are with a job or no job. Sometimes they never come back. Sometimes they do, so it is what it is.
And sometimes they give us a credit card that doesn't go through.
But, we're being as fair as possible with the understanding that it's still a fine due. So,
Right. Dockets and case files is the next section. Are separate dockets maintained for various classifications of cases such as traffic and vehicle, criminal, civil, and small claims?
yes, they are. And we have something on your report that I gave you, we broke it down, I think, into.
No, we didn't give them that one.
On this one here, here's. So, 3 separate little reports that come out of the computer system. This gives the number of DWIs, AUOs, the number of speeds, number of defendants, number of charges, and then it breaks them down into penal law, which is criminal statutes, vehicle traffic law, VTL, civil, CPL, which is criminal procedure law, ECL is environmental conservation, and then AM is
Ag and market.
ag and market.
So the vast majority is traffic.
Yeah, traffic, we get some penal stuff here too. Majority of it is 79.
Traffic. We have a few civil. We don't have.
Breakdown of charges recorded, charges disposed of.
Anything that
And again,
happens
that's kind of a
in the-
fluid
in
thing,
the
because some of that
physical
stuff was
boundary of the town.
charged in 23 that bled over in December of 23, get a charge and they plea out in January of 24, so.
I see that we have charges received in 2024, 368, and charges disposed 371. So the
Right.
difference is like 2 cases from another year got resolved this year.
Yeah. or-
Yep. Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. Because we've had some that were, like I said, we had one that was 2011, I think another one was 2013. That resolved, so they would be in that count. That shows ones that were closed, because your open cases remain open. We run this report from January 1 to December 31st. But so we could run it a number of years, but we don't actually know how far back to even ask for it based on what's in there that's outstanding, that's never been resolved. So,
Are case files maintained for all cases?
Yes.
yes, and he's got a sample, I pulled one criminal, one civil, and one traffic, so you can see the process.
Yeah. It's, 3, this is a traffic. Disregard the name.
Do you know that, how do you know there's traffic? Where is it in it? Oh, I can see it right at the top. It's indicated.
And this one is criminal, so that has criminal circle.
All right,
And this is a civil proceeding or a landlord tenant. And that's a civil.
Yeah, because, under civil, we have landlord tenants and we have small claims.
and are they filed by alphabetically or by type of case?
Alphabetically by year.
Alphabetically by year.
Right, so the docket number always begins, the first 2 digits of the docket number
Uh-huh.
is always the year.
Oh.
And then they start with number 1 at the beginning of every year, so you see the, they're filed, but we file them alphabetically because if somebody calls, sometimes they know their ticket number, but they don't know their docket number, and it's not a number, for us to find it by docket number, the computer would have to be on. And on days where I don't have anything I need to do in the courtroom program, I don't boot that computer up unless I have to.
Sure.
So we hope they know their name.
So, yes.
Uh,
Well, some of them don't because they get married and they forget the ticket was under their maiden name. So some of them don't know their name and send us on wild goose chase.
Are indexes docket number maintained for all cases? I say yes. Accept that. Do dockets for disposed cases appear to be complete?
Yes, you see the little close thing down on the bottom.
Yeah,
Receipts
so,
and whatnot in there.
yeah, we write closed right on it, and then it goes
That's, then I file them.
into a file. If there's a fine due, it goes in a certain drawer. If there's not a fine due or it's complete, then it goes in nebulous.
Yeah, and it's not closed until the fine is paid.
Do
Go somewhere.
dockets for disposed cases agree with amounts reported?
Yes, so we have that list on your report. We have the fines that are due, the $9,700. And then we have, prior year's fines, which is a big number that we're trying to work on. Prior to my existence.
How long we gotta keep the closed cases?
Some of them forever.
Yeah, if it is usually.
There's,
Figured that would be
we have everything. All years back to whatever, because we cannot dispose of anything without permission from the Office of Court Administration. And then it used to be that every year, the years that ended in zero, like 2020, 2000, 2010, 2020, those years, you couldn't dispose of it all. You'd have to keep those years into perpetuity, but, so we've probably got files that can be, but it's a monumental task to work with the Office of Court Administration
To figure
to
out what.
dispose of them.
Yeah, and on the file itself, we circle what it says. Some files are 6 years, some are 25, some are permanent. Most of them, in our case, are permanent, but, better answer for that. But yeah, at some point that becomes a storage issue. Depending on your volume. Could be,
Oh, thank you.
So.
Yeah,
but
we've
all
got
the files
some
I'm aware of are in that room, in boxes.
in that
and-
file cabinet, and all the file cabinets in there are full, and I gotta move things around to create a drawer for 2025. So I haven't had the time yet to.
Well,
do that.
January's not your month for extra things.
January and February are busy.
So these prior year ones and the cases that, I mean, these fines that haven't been collected yet. How does that affect the town? Financial, does it affect the town financially? Are we like, is that sort of a you're working in a, I don't wanna say a debit, you're working in like a minus figure somewhere with the town books or something, or is it just stays on here as it's cases you know you have to continue to try to
Yeah,
collect.
we gotta collect.
Yeah.
Do our best to collect on them, but the likelihood or guarantee of collection is. You just can't predict it.
Yeah.
Right, because even if we do the civil judgment thing, there's no guarantee it ever gets collected. So it still would hang out there as a civil judgment, so we still would have to have that file kept somewhere. Even if we do a civil judgment, we'd have to have that file kept somewhere
Yeah.
to, if they ever did pay. The civil judgment is gonna do to them is make it a little hard for them to get the financing on something. If they wanted to get a mortgage or something and that civil judgment
So
was
how
out
that
there, they'd have to pay.
Process works is with the civil judgment program, then I think I'm gonna answer the question that you really answered was. If we're operating at a deficit, so there's really no correlation between fine income and the budget for the court. They're two separate and distinct items. It'd be nice if it was operating in the green, but that's just, it's not a correlatable thing according to OCA and New York State judicial. But certainly, our goal is to get all the fines collected if we're able to, and that is That is the rule. But the civil compromise or the civil judgment is this, is if we're able to, we give them a time period, 7 to 10 days to respond. If they don't respond at all, if it comes back, we resend it. If we get a response, they come in and they pay the fine, great. If they don't respond, and we see that there's evidence that they actually got the letter and it didn't come back, returnable or something like that, we can then take that file. There's a form I fill out. I bring it down to the district attorney's office. They have the ability to file it at the clerk's office. Somehow not pay a fee.
Right,
There's a connection
it's-
there.
yeah, there's some waiver or something that.
And then we filed at the clerk's office as a judgment against them for the amount of the fine. And so if they own real property in Schuyler County, and they want to do something with that, sell it, and the judgment will come up and we'll pay it at that point. And that's the only real teeth that we have.
Yeah,
So that's 25 is the goal. Hammer on, I told you that last year, but we're really working on it this year. I got some bandwidth. I got some bandwidth now too.
so it eventually catches up to that person or that person's estate, probably.
Correct, I think, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, and I
some of
have-
These files are really old. I mean,
Yeah,
Yes, because usually what happens is we have had a few pass away and the tickets were out there and pass away, but most of them we knew really didn't have much of anything anyway, and so that it just gets dismissed. The case gets abated by death is the.
So the person dies.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. So I don't think we've ever tried to collect from anybody's estate when somebody's passed away. Not yet.
Under accountability, is accountability determined by the governing board as needed? I don't understand that question, does anyone?
Does that
know?
mean, do you guys feel everything reported to you and all your questions answered prove accountability for all of his records, money's coming in, money's going out? That's basically what that's asking.
I'd say yes. You did a good job on the last question. This governing board just that.
Do accountability amounts agree with bank reconciliations and supporting information?
That was a yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Are reports electronically made in a timely manner to New York State Comptroller Justice Fund?
Yes.
Yes, they were. Has the court received any notices regarding late reporting?
No. No,
The final section is reports to Division of Criminal Justice Services. Are reports electronically made timely to Division of Criminal Justice Services?
that's the CDRs.
yes,
Yes.
yes, we're caught up on all those and, yes.
And has the
Right.
court
We do
received-
we do them now when we close the case. We do the criminal justice reporting. Sometimes we have to file them without a criminal justice tracking number or an arrest number because we might not have that information. There is a place where we can get some of it, but every once in a while, somebody slips through and there's not that information available.
And has the court received any notices regarding late filing to the Department of Criminal Justice?
No,
How was that?
they just send an error report or something and go through, right?
And then there's a spot here for us to sign, the audit committee. Thanks very much for your.
Right, well, we need to sign, I need to sign that one too.
Do we do a
And you
resolution
got
to
pizza
accept?
on it.
Yeah, no.
I'll write that out. Yes, we need to do a resolution, please.
Need a resolution to accept.
I make the resolution to accept the, audit and annual financial report from Justice Novell.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Any further questions or comments?
Thanks for keeping a tidy ship.
Yeah, very organized, thanks.
I have help.
All right. All in favor?
I,
Aye. Anybody wish to abstain or oppose? Yeah,
I think it'll still be in.
we all need to sign this too, Jay? The one that-
Yes.
Everybody needs to sign this as well.
Just down in the bottom.
Well,
Up on the
Anybody-
top, under,
Ever wants to come sit in court, you're welcome to. If anybody wants to meet with me and look at this stuff, I'm happy to show you what we're doing. So.
Report nights, Tuesday night? Thursday,
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, the second and fourth Wednesdays.
I think it's.
Just come
Do we have
visit
to
would be good. I don't have to come.
Yeah, we'd rather see you on, just sit out there. We don't wanna see you up here.
The,
All the vacation.
Yeah, sorry about that, that's unfortunate.
You can wipe it down.
That was just hold out. That was me.
Kohlrabi doesn't stain, guys, that's why I should have gone with mine.
That's it,
Thank
sir.
you.
okay, all right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Just go to the other room. Thank you for your time.
Okay, Scott had to step away for a personal need, so we're gonna move on to Smith Park. We do have a sheet. However, and I'm gonna say this, we don't have a sheet that really covers what the park super well. So keep that in mind as we answer questions. The other side of it is, there's some procedural stuff that we can just, I think, ask that will cover sort of what we're looking for to make sure the money's being. We just have the one master one.
Yeah, there is another, a separate written report, so.
Does anybody want to administer questions?
Because financially, all the money's funneled through Justin's accounts, through the supervisor's accounts. But the process up to that money coming in is what you really need to be looking at with Mallory.
Yeah.
Is what happens when somebody comes in to rent a site, pays their money, where does it go, what does it do? That's what she's prepared to show all of you.
And I also want to state in her defense that somebody only told her that she was going to be here yesterday afternoon. So.
Shame on you.
Oh, you weren't answering our text yesterday.
Yes, goodness, yes,
She was freaking out.
I did, I panicked for a good minute, but we're okay, we're good.
Especially when you thought it was yes, I don't want to be there.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
Okay, should we fire it off?
that's fired off.
Okay, is the cash receipt journal up to date?
That would be a receipt book.
have that. And I have logs, yep. Here, Mike, can take these two. These are logs of how I log incoming money.
Okay, these all sort of relate to the same journal. So is the cash receipt journal maintained in a manner that identifies the date received, payer, purpose, and the amount either individually or totals reference to subsidiary receipt records?
Yes,
Are duplicate deposit slips kept?
yes,
Do deposit amounts agree with cash receipt amounts?
yes,
Uh,
Are those deposits made timely and recorded up to date?
yep.
So I want to step in here real quick. In this case, when we're talking about deposit slips,
Uh-huh.
she brings the money to the town hall.
Uh-huh.
And either Jane or Kathy will give her a receipt for the deposit
Kathy
money.
Usually I hand it right straight to Kathy, so I don't have to deal with a middle.
So
So this is a not NA.
we could. She should have last recorded deposit from 2024.
It's in my receipt book.
It should be, yeah, it's in the receipt book.
Let's get the date and the amount of the last recorded
Where do you
deposit,
store the paper?
just for the.
What did you say?
I'm sorry, the last recorded deposit, the date and the amount, just for the form.
What's the last one from 2024 that you have?
11/22.
Yep.
$25.
Firewood permit.
So Mallory, do you wanna go over how
It was 25.
how you do it? So if you get cash.
Okay,
say
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so, somebody comes in, say they want $5 rental, okay? So I take the cash, I write it here in the ledger. And then, the $5 goes in the safe. And then when I am ready to take money to Kathy, I have stars on here. So where I starred is where I, was the last deposit. Okay, so this deposit would be from here to here,
Uh-huh.
and then from here to here, and so on. So that's how I keep track of that.
And that's how, and you write out a deposit slip for the total of that?
Yep, and then my deposit slips.
Do you only accept cash?
Now, firewood I could take hard, but that's all done on the computer through Camp Spot.
Uh-huh.
These are deposits with the tickets and everything. Yep,
Same duplicate.
yep, yep.
It makes
What is the
smelling all the
problem?
paper.
It smells like you store it in an old safe. It's got the musty smell. like
It
those.
sits in a filing cabinet, yeah.
Don't get mold. You have to be careful.
So.
Cause I noticed the first, those, I was like, it smells.
Sorry, the park.
No,
I
I just
know.
want, it's not like,
Hector.
but that was the smell I got, it's like.
Yeah.
paperwork that's been in an old, but it's
There-
filing cabinet down, there would make sense.
Uh-huh.
If I think about it, I will get one of the, deodorizer type things that work for my safe at home.
Okay,
And you can put it in the file cabinet.
yeah, okay, cool.
And it'll absorb the
The musty.
moisture,
Yeah.
and it does get rid of it, cause
Okay.
my little safe was smelling really
I like
pretty.
But it doesn't bother me. I can't smell it because I'm so used to it and work around it, so.
Let's move forward. Are the undeposited
Wait,
cash
sorry,
receipts
question.
safe?
How come some of these have yellow and white, slips on them?
What's that?
How come some of them have yellow and white?
Because, what was the white slip is from Kathy.
Hmm.
So that is telling me that she received the cash and this is the slip that goes with this deposit.
Oh, this is a time where you only had one deposit a year.
Yeah,
down.
it depends. I always make copies of the cash out slip. And I put the receipt with it usually, and then I put the receipt from Kathy with the copy that I have. So I know that that receipt it goes with that deposit, so.
Okay, go ahead. Ann.
Okay, I will.
Let's try.
So are the undeposited cash receipts safeguarded?
That money goes in the safe.
Yes, yep.
Is
Literally.
Well, I have to comment on that.
Don't open up Pandora's box.
Safe needs to be bolted down.
It is.
It got bolted down?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, good.
Yep.
This is one of those little handheld safes, so for all of 23, you could have just walked out.
Yep, no, I
Bolted now.
bolted that down a long time
Good.
ago, so
Yeah.
make sure that.
I want to
was-
see your face when you went in there and steal it. Cause you had to steal something from the town too.
I had to steal something from the town?
Everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we're
I
getting,
know.
okay, is the cash receipt journal totaled and summarized monthly?
That would be sort of
That
your,
would be what goes through Justin's record.
yeah, that goes through my records, and yes, it is, goes through Kathy. Handles that on a monthly
Okay,
basis.
we're gonna move on to cash disbursements. Is the cash disbursement journal up to date?
Sorry, I thought that-
The cash disbursement side comes through me, that's basically when we pay checks that are for a
Right. so that
park
goes-
item, that comes through me, that, and yes, that's,
Is the cash disbursement journal maintained in a manner to identify amounts dispersed either individually or totals reference to abstracts or payrolls?
yes. So this is a good point. I did not print out any of the cash disbursement because any of the funds, they're quite large. If anybody wants to, Kathy is, we talked about it, she's willing to go through any and all cash disbursement journals on the computer. But short of having a computer sitting here going through each fund, it didn't make sense. The other side of it is cash disbursement are what we sign off on each
The audits.
each month when we do our monthly
When you
audit
do the
meeting with the
vouchers.
vouchers. Those are the, cash disbursements. So everybody here has signed off on
Okay.
all the cash disbursements.
Are pre-numbered checks used for all disbursements other than petty cash?
Yes,
Are all checks signed by the appropriate officials?
Yes.
If checks are signed electronically,
we don't
Is-
do that.
No,
so NA.
NA.
Are canceled checks or check images returned with bank statements and maintained on file?
Yes,
yes.
and this is. Well, if you give me a second, I can show you that, but we do have a file of all the cash all the bank statements, they come with checks, which are in here somewhere.
Okay,
There, there's an example. Numbered, signed,
and looks official. Are all unused checks properly controlled? Blank check stock.
yes,
Are all checks recorded up to date?
yes.
And
And I don't have a last number for the park specifically. I have a last number for the A fund, but not for the park specifically. I don't think it's
Well-
really applicable.
so NA this?
What do you guys think for-
On the park report, I'd put an NAC supervisor's report.
Yeah,
For
Yeah.
these, the.
Yeah, just
NA.
put, yeah,
NAC supervisor's report.
see supervisor's report, because that's where you're gonna find it. Nope, she doesn't.
Maybe.
Consider yourself lucky.
2028.
Yeah, I do. I do.
Are all payments supported by appropriate documentation? Consider comparing a sample of disbursements with supporting documentation.
So that would be a voucher that we,
Yeah. Right, which you see the vouchers every month.
So, yes.
yes.
So basically, since most of the camping goes to camp spot, you just are doing firewood, boat launch, any merch that people buy.
Yep,
off.
and,
And
The
then
bank
some
accounts are
seasonal
like what Kathy does in
pay.
a month.
yeah,
cash
Right.
when they camp.
And there's a report from Camp Spot that shows the monies, whatever, because, that's, that money goes directly into the supervisor's checking account from Camp Spot.
So this is, record keeping departments continued.
The cash, I'd say yes, see supervisor's report.
Yes, and it's by supervisor. Monthly,
Monthly.
and it's the board.
Yep.
Who reviews and verifies them? Town board. Okay, is the bank reconciliation performed timely after the bank statement is received?
Yes,
And this is again, see supervisors.
and here, which will be the same as when I do my report, here's the reconciliation. Now, I can pass this around, but it'll be the same thing. It'll show how much money is in the A account. It'll show if there's any pending deposits and then all outstanding checks.
We just.
Well, no, Smith Park is because it's part of the A
Smith Park.
fund, it's,
Doesn't have a separate checking account.
Would it make sense, to the board if we requested from the park, because the park is the only department that is regularly, other than the judiciary, but regularly taking in revenue? I mean, we take in almost more amounts than we spend almost, right? So would it make sense to request from the park a monthly revenue report? Which she could get, it would be like a download from it would be the monthly report from the credit card company. Which Jane gets as backup anyway, but we don't
That's backup for
necessarily.
the voucher for the fee that you.
Right, so that total from that monthly report and
Plus
credit
any
card,
cash.
plus the cash and the cash broken down in boat launch fees, firewood. It'd be
camping.
pretty simple, once the system is set up, it wouldn't be cumbersome. Because the majority of the revenues is from the camp spot
So
report.
it's something you could add to the existing park report that you do.
That's what I'm saying, just
Just
add a
a-
little blurb that
A
just
little
have the
blurb that said
breakdown.
revenues received this month.
yeah.
I think it makes sense and we can work together to get it so you're not killing yourself, but because it would, I think after we kind of format it, you fill in the numbers, it won't take much.
Yeah,
Does
because
it have
you
to be
did it
printed
at
out
the
on
end
a
of the
piece
year
paper or
anyway,
in an email form?
huh?
Would it have to be printed out on paper or just an email form?
I'm just saying it's part of a park
Well,
report.
it's part of your park report.
Yeah,
Include it right in. the
Because
park
Hudson
report.
actually did do that.
kind of like,
Right, so
almost
just-
like what
just like-
Jason does. He has his report for codes and then it has a breakdown. We could have your regular report and then you say camp,
Camping.
Camping
camping fees,
reservation.
Yep.
boat launch, wood.
We would want to break out seasonal from non-seasonal, just because it's all the stuff that in the end of the year, when we do the park budget. We want to know that breakdown. We
Mhm.
want to know how much is seasonal,
Right.
how much is transient,
Right.
how
Yeah.
much
Should
firewood,
be
how much boat launch, and
very
then you
easy.
have it already. Yeah.
Okay, are the reconciliations documented and available for review?
Yes, and everybody should get those in their email monthly.
Does the reconciled bank balance agree with the cash balance recorded in the accounting records? This is deposit protection. Has the bank pledged adequate eligible securities to protect deposits held in department bank accounts that exceed FDIC insurance protection if
Here's-
applicable?
Here's our pledge securities for the bank. I mean, a lot of this you could say see supervisors on this one too.
But it is a yes.
Yes,
Okay, accountability. Is accountability what the department owes determined at the end of each month?
well, we don't really have that problem with the park. Well, actually, I'd say yes, because whatever comes in, you pay all the money that you owe to the main budget.
Yes.
Bring the money up each
Yep.
week, so
Right.
yes,
She doesn't keep any money other than her petty cash.
Yes.
Does accountability agree with bank reconciliations and supporting records?
yes,
Maybe.
Are receipts for the year comparable with those of previous years?
yes,
Are the significant safeguards for the protection of records and cash, such as a safe or locking file cabinet, an office with a door that can be locked, regular deposits of cash, etc.?
yes,
Okay, let's move through to this is more financial reporting. Are monthly reports and payments to the chief fiscal officer timely?
yes,
Yes.
Are monthly reports and payments to other appropriate officials, individuals, entities, or agencies timely?
Does that mean like the mob?
Like us? It's not every town is the same. Do amounts reported agree with summarized cash receipts and disbursement books?
yes,
Are annual reports prepared and submitted timely?
yes,
Do annual reports agree with the records?
yeah.
Others, are receivable control accounts maintained?
Well, we don't really have any.
You don't really have any except your
It's,
seasonal.
this is if
Your-
applicable.
Yeah, I'd
Your-
say
your-
yes, because
Your
you
seasonals would be,
our, and we
could be,
consider
call
that.
it, you know,
and-
receivables type, because you send them a letter, they pay a deposit, then they
Right.
still have to pay the rest
And
of
she
the.
keeps record of that. Everybody has a
Yeah.
file individually. For everybody who owes us for seasonal camping has a file individually, and she has record of that by.
Okay.
name.
Every camper has their own folder and I have all of their information, insurance, copies of checks, payments and everything, so.
Okay. Is there indication that the receivable control amounts are reconciled to the detail subsidiary records?
I'd say yes, because the real receivables we have, once again, deal with the seasonal campers. If they don't pay, they don't stay.
Ooh,
Whoa, put that on a t-shirt.
That's a new policy, by the way.
Okay, I think that's everything. We signed this one.
Don't they?
Yeah, we will, just to,
That's everything. Is there
That,
any
because
comments
it's
or
the only document
conclusions?
I have, y'all.
yeah, we'll sign it up where she.
Is the conclusion that the town park goes through the supervisor? Do we need to document that? On the comments and conclusions?
You can.
You could say, you know,
That's one of the challenges with the park is all the other departments, their revenues
So you go through the.
go through their
supervisor,
own
the A
fund, but with the park, that's why the budget report
A general
that I
fund.
developed is to keep it separate, to have, so the park manager has some sense of what's actually happening, because otherwise it ends up kind of in a blur.
Right.
You know, you don't really know actually what happened.
Okay,
all,
we gotta make an
yeah,
amendment.
that's
We
what I
need
was
to
saying.
do a
I need a
resolution.
resolution.
I'll make a go ahead.
I mean,
I'll do it.
Anthony made it.
I'll make a resolution to accept the town board gatekeeping record requirement department,
For the
except for
park.
worded better.
So we're really correctly.
Yeah,
That was Yoda speak.
I will second the words that Anthony said with his mouth.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Any further questions about the park? Hearing none, all in favor of approving
Spreading.
the park audit as presented.
Aye.
Thanks, Mallory. For
Thanks,
keeping
guys.
it tidy.
Good job.
Thanks.
Trying,
Hey,
doing my best.
almost a year. You won't have to do this until next February,
Yeah,
and you'll have a better preparation.
hopefully.
Oh, no, wait,
we're here
what?
for a whole year.
Unrelated, I'd love to connect you with
Oh, yeah.
you next week.
Answer-
But, you know, just digest this.
Is 10 o'clock okay? Did
Yeah,
we
but
Yeah.
we didn't decide on a day.
Okay, Thursday, was that? Well, we have Thursday
Think-
next week, we're
mm.
busy.
That's,
Maybe just to reply to the text.
Maybe yeah,
I have flexibility. My mornings are any of those days work. It's like,
Okay, okay.
yeah, that's fine. Oh, yeah, there's next Thursday. Park, we're doing the park committee meeting
at
at
2
two
o'clock.
next Thursday. Okay. So yeah, I mean, that's fine.
Yep, okay. I will message you, I'll message you
Okay.
back and we'll
yeah,
go from there.
no worries. I didn't know you got a second notice on this.
Okay.
That's what I figured was going on.
All
But
right.
If either sick or.
I'm probably gonna get a set of those from my house and follow them before we go down and do it.
Oh, okay.
We are, gonna move on to the tax collector. Anybody want to volunteer to read again? Anybody?
There you go.
Thank you.
I think it's interesting
Find the whole
that
rest of this.
we as a board, or most of us that were in the van, discussed how this audit is kind of antiquated, and since so much of it is computerized now, it doesn't apply, and here we are, 2 or 3 days later, going through that.
Yeah.
All right,
Well, computerized, what do you mean most? of
well, I
it
mean,
isn't
since there isn't a good way to, a lot of it's not clearly in a checkbook, you're not looking at a checkbook anymore, in a
Right.
perfect world, we'd have like a computer monitor up here and you'd be
Mhm.
flipping through different screens to show us all these things. Not you specifically, but whoever was on the,
That's a 2026 problem.
yeah.
Yeah.
And welcome to your final audit.
Oh, no,
Well,
boo.
except I have to prepare all the reports for the next one. Because that will be the end of mine,
You'll do a great job at it, I know.
so I will have to.
You may have to come back.
I probably will, because it will really be all my report next year, so. This is my final one as your town clerk, but as your retired town clerk, I'll come back and do 2020.
Well, we'll do that.
This is kind of aggressive.
Have it on record.
So basically, we're starting with tax collection.
Right,
Um,
you want me to go through the checklist?
Yeah.
if you,
Let me do the checklist. So under settlement, is a copy of the collector or receiver statement sheet available?
you have
Yes.
this report.
Okay. Have all settlement issues or concerns been adequately resolved?
Yes. That was all done last April.
Okay.
You found that penny?
Huh?
You found that penny?
It went in as interest. It was a penny, I think.
Okay. Under bank accounts, is the bank account reconciled after bank statements are received?
Yes.
And the last date performed?
Sometime in basically April, May, probably it was May. Because my tax collection ends the beginning of April. So the banks,
Yeah.
so the
It says date
last,
performed, can you do, is that,
um,
and also month ending in April?
month ending would have been April.
April.
Would have been April, because that's when everything would be closed out, so bank statement would have arrived in early May, so probably by about the 15th or 20th of May of 2024.
Okay.
After that, the bank it's empty, the rest.
Well, it's empty, except there's a little bit of interest in it, which what interest accumulated in there you'll get with this year's taxes.
You give back the petty cash every year.
I give back the petty cash to the supervisor every year. They ask for it back in this, what happens with it.
And then the note here says the tax collector's bank account balance should be 0 at the beginning of the collection.
Basically, it is, except for what accumulated interest might have happened if somebody didn't cash their refund check, because there were some refund checks, because what we're seeing happening again this year is we send the receipts after the escrow companies pay, and people are sending us a check for taxes at that point in time. So we end up, when we get things all figured out and realize that's a duplicate payment, because we no longer have a physical copy of the tax bills that we can pull out for receipts. It's all on the computer. So we don't have that extra paper for
over 3,000 bills.
I noticed that the town of Hector has paid
Mhm.
on the receipts and the town of Dix wasn't, but now is.
Yeah.
Like from 5 years ago, they
We've,
were.
we've always stamped paid on ours since I began, so for 30-some years, we've always put paid town of Hector on it. Because it's, to me, that's important.
Well, it avoids that confusion that you're talking about.
Right.
But if they pay, well,
So-
it's not attention.
So, yeah, so bank statements, everything is, most everything other than a few miscellaneous stuff is in this notebook. So, bank statements are here.
Is that for just 1 year?
This is just 2024,
Yes.
last year, yep, just 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah, we killed trees in order to document all of this,
It's
but
okay, we grow more trees than we kill.
that's good.
In Hector.
Anyway. Okay, cash receipts.
Yes,
Is the cash receipts journal maintained in a manner sufficient to identify the date received,
yes,
payer, tax account number, tax amount, interest amount, and other appropriate information?
yes. Here is a copy of the receipts journal,
Okay.
which you can see on the, if you go right across the top, tells you exactly what's in each of those columns.
Oh, right.
That one happens to be, CoreLogic is our biggest escrow company. It took us several different deposits to do them, and then, in the last year, they bought Wells Fargo, so that half, it made this half again as large in payments.
That's
Core
who's
Logic,
holding a mortgage.
CoreLogic's checks totaled over $880,000.
And that's like that, people are paying mortgages and that's who's
Right,
paying.
that's the escrow.
the
The escrow, big escrow company. So, yeah, so we run this every time, and then, there is this trial balance. When I put a bunch of payments in, I run this trial balance because it gives me a total of what the warrant is, what was like to date for this date, shows what was collected in first installments, this installment service charge, the full payments, any penalties that might have been collected, and if we had collected a late notice fee when we send those notices. So that shows you what's outstanding left to be collected at that point. So we get that report. Every time I put payments in, I run that report through. So. Yeah.
All right, no hernias.
Don't touch my kohlrabi.
So,
Okay. The deposits identified,
yes,
looks like it.
yes. And when we do deposits, this is,
Okay.
yeah, this is, the remote deposit that we do, because we run all the checks through the remote deposit. There's a couple of different types of money orders we deposit manually because they won't run through the feeder. And then when we do cash, they're this duplicate deposit, it's cash. So we have two different style,
Yeah, so our duplicate deposit slips kept.
Yep. Everything right here. Yep, everything is here.
You actually run the check to the remote thing.
Mm-hmm.
That means you hang on, check, you keep the check.
We keep the checks for about 6 months or more after tax collection ends, and then we can shred them. We have to wait a few months to shred them. So we generally wait till the end of the year. I think we shredded 2020.
Right, 'cause they used to all end up at the bank.
Yeah, I think we shredded 2024's in December.
Okay, where was it? Do deposit amounts agree with cash receipt amounts?
Yes, because this cash receipt report has a number on it. It has a journal number on it. And we put the journal number on our deposit slip. And we do not close out this journal if it does not match this number on this deposit slip. So,
The bank deposits timely or for towns within 24 hours of collection.
we deposit money every day. We either deposit remotely or cash when we have it. It's every day.
Under cash disbursements. Are pre-numbered checks used for all disbursements other than
Yes.
petty cash?
Yes,
Are all checks signed by the tax collector or receiver?
yes,
for canceled checks or check images returned with bank statements and maintained on file.
Did they find one that's got checks on it? There, yep, they are there.
Deposit protection. Has the bank pledged adequate eligible securities to protect tax
That-
collector deposits?
Yeah, that
exceed
falls under
FDIC?
what he has.
Here's my
yes.
pledge security.
Does the town
Yep.
clerk let her finish her sentence? No. Just kidding. Okay. Okay, under financial reporting, are payments made at least weekly to the supervisor?
Not weekly. But he was paid everything in early February,
So a no, but timely,
timely,
but in time.
by the time we could get it balanced and
Okay.
whatever, yes.
She paid me off all at once this year.
Yes.
Last year she made installment payments.
Yeah, last year I paid in different funds over a period of a couple of different weeks, but this year I just said, we were so busy with in-person payments that we couldn't get a few minutes to do anything practically. Almost for 3 full straight weeks or almost 3.5 weeks. It was crazy, the amount of in-person payments this year.
Is it more check, like mail, checks being mailed in generally, or?
Well, the mail is usually pretty heavy that last 10 days or so, and because that's when you get all the escrow companies plus everybody that waits till the very last minute. But the in-person payments were steady every day for at least 3 or 3.5 weeks.
People walking
was
in the
like-
door.
Right, I mean, you might get 5 minutes between people coming in and then you'd have 2 or 3 and then but we
Okay.
didn't get any blocks of time to try to do some of it. So we got everything receipted and deposited quickly because I had Diane Carl to work for most of January. But then it's like we catch all that up in that first week of January, but then it's trying to get it all entered into the computer system. Because the one fault I have with the computer program is I can't have 2 payment journals open at a time. So I can't have one open that I am using at the counter when I'm taking in the payment at the counter. I can't just put that payment in right then. And then balance up the day, so we're always balancing the day before the next day. So, and then when we do remote deposit, I can't get to putting that in if I were working on a day-to-day. So I'm always a day or 2 behind trying to get all the deposits in. And then when that last week of January hit, I was up to the 20th of January, and from the 20th of January to the 10th of February, it's like we're still trying to get all of it in for this year. So it's,
I wonder if more people came in person because they've lost faith in the mail's ability.
probably they've lost faith in the mail because we've not had good luck with the mail. We've not had people getting their taxes timely. We've not had a check that somebody mailed me from California took 8 days to get here.
I got mailed a Christmas card this year from California. It was like 35 days.
Yeah, this check that I was waiting on, because what happened is the guy came in person to pay them, gave us the address, we gave him the tax bill. He went online and paid it. And then they're looking at it and his wife says, this isn't the right acreage. This isn't but this is our address. They call Jessica Ryan, our assessor, and Jessica Ryan says, that's not your address. You reversed 2 numbers in there. So what they did is like their address was 6235 and they told us it was 6253. We gave them the tax bill for 6253. It's a new transfer. It's a person bought it in December. So we don't have any of that information to verify. We took him at his word that was the address and gave him the tax bill, and he went online and paid it. So now I have an online payment. I have an online payment that we find out 3 weeks later is not for the right one. And when we discovered that, wait a minute, there's something here because the person whose property Billy paid, we also got an escrow payment for it. And Diane says, well, what do I do with this? That bill is paid. And then we get a phone call from the wife that says, I think we paid the wrong bill. And the assessor calls us and says, they paid the wrong bill. So I finally, 2 days ago, got the check from California for the remainder of his tax bill. Which I had told him I'll collect it without the penalty, but I've got to have it soon, but we didn't, it wasn't discovered till the 3rd of February. That it was wrong,
There's a
so,
huge amount of
Okay,
that are paid in cash also, so that's a big part of why people are walking in here, because they pay.
right, if they
Ton of
pay in
money.
cash, I regularly take cash. Never at the same time of day, never, not always the same day of the week,
But
but,
huge amounts.
as high as $13,000 at a time. As low as 1 or 2, but depends.
okay. Okay, are receipt forms issued by the supervisor to acknowledge collection?
Yes, yes. I,
Okay,
I can show them
yeah, okay.
to you. I get. So I get all these receipts from the supervisor when I pay the supervisor. So what happens with that? Is I then have to give the originals to the county when I settle with the county. That's why I keep a photocopy. And then when I pay the county, I have receipts from the county for what I paid them.
Because the payments made timely to the county treasurer.
Yes, once we've paid off the supervisor, I pay the county, every couple of
But it
weeks.
just says timely, it doesn't give you a.
Yes.
Okay, under accountability. Are penalties assessed or collected on late payments?
Yes,
Yes. Is the total amount of penalties collected on overdue real property taxes comparable with that collected in previous years?
yes,
Do the amounts look reasonable?
yes. I'm living them out. Looking to see if I
Why
have
did they
it.
ask that?
I don't know.
Comparable with
because-
collected in previous, I mean, why couldn't it be very different? than the
It
previous
does
year?
vary, but it doesn't vary a lot.
It'd probably be a red flag if last year we collected 3 million.
Right.
now, And this year we collected 8 million. That would probably.
Yeah, see, without looking,
Cause us to wanna take a look at what's going on.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, without looking at, I thought I could easily see, but I don't. Without looking at the prior year's report, I can't tell you that. But the penalties that were turned in, the 6,991, I believe that's on that report. It was very close to what they were the year before. What is different in 2024 is the amount of interest we got on the bank account. That was considerably higher because of increased interest rates.
Okay. Is the tax collector or receiver treating her own tax bills properly?
Yes, I bring my,
Including penalties if required.
yes,
If
they're
that's
never,
not here.
yeah, that doesn't happen, but, yes, I receipt Lori's tax bill and Lori receipts my tax bill.
Okay,
So I bring mine in and hand it to her, she brings hers in and hands it to me.
Okay.
So,
are interest earnings remitted to the supervisor and or the county as appropriate?
to the supervisor. We don't share it with the county anymore.
Are there?
And I don't know if that's proper or not.
It doesn't ask, so we'll keep going.
I can tell you why. It's because when they limited our sales tax,
Don't send us the sales tax.
because when they limited our sales tax, our town supervisor said then they don't get a share of the interest on the taxes. They've never asked for a share of the interest on taxes. So,
Are there significant safeguards for the protection of assets and cash, such
Yes.
as a safe,
yes,
a lock file cabinet, offices with locks on the door,
Oh.
regular deposits of cash?
yes. When we have, anything over a couple $100 in cash, we go to the bank anyway. So yes, cash deposits get made daily if we have large amounts of cash. And then, we do have the vault where we lock things up. My door also has a lock. You have to have a code to get in the building and the front door is locked when nobody's here, so. It's safeguarded as best we can.
Right, do we have a motion to accept the?
Is there
tax
anything else
collectors?
anybody wants to look through this book?
I'll make the motion. Yep. Tax collector, auto 2024 books, record.
I'll
reports.
second.
We have a first and second, any more questions or comments for the tax collector?
Thanks for doing.
Nice job,
Nice
Judy.
job.
Right, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
You need to all sign that.
I have never been off in 35 years or 37 years. I don't intend to be off this year either, so.
When I was
Record.
talking with Incerno last year, and they
Next
were
year, you pay
discussing
1 penny too much in your
departments
bill.
to audit, they actually suggested not.
You know what?
going with the tax collector,
We
because
have-
they said that. You don't normally find a tax collector that's off, and if tax collector's off, somebody normally catches up with them real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
The county's not gonna say, oh, you can't.
Well,
find $2
because
million.
we get a letter from the county, and I have that in my stuff too. We get a letter from the county that says, these are the payments you made, this was the warrant, these were the payments you made to the supervisor. If there were any adjustments to the warrant, which sometimes there is, like somebody's school taxes were paid but still re-levied. So there might be a change to the warrant. And then they list out all of the monies that, the amount that was paid to the supervisor. And then they list out all the payments that are paid by special franchises, and state lands are paid at the county, not by us, not with us. And then they list out all the payments they received from me. And then at the bottom of it, it says you owe me this amount of dollars. And then she and I go back and forth with, wait a minute, this is, and I have a process, I have a sheet I developed to be able to do that balancing process. This is the sheet that I use, that I developed to be able to take all of my information out of the system and take the total warrant and then go right down through with what's been paid and whatever, and what's been turned in. And what I have left for delinquent taxes at that point in time, so. But I created this sheet to make it easier to try to pull all the numbers together in one place
Right.
to. So,
How
So I-
different were these numbers from 37 years ago, 35 years ago? Were they?
Oh, they're so different.
oh,
7
considerably
years ago.
different. We had approximately 2,600 parcels when I started in 1988. We have over 37, almost 3,800 parcels now. So that's how many parcels have split. So this is the type of letter I get from the treasurer's office. I wish she put it in a bigger font.
Seriously, they got so much space.
I don't know, there's tons of space. I don't know why she won't put it in a bigger font, but that's the way it comes. So it's like she spells, like I just explained, she spells out her part of it, and then I take this letter and I take my sheet and I go through all my records and get to the bottom line, to where we agree that that's what I owe, because that's what I have in my bank, so.
And tax collector has its own account that we just use
Yes.
2 months a year, basically, or whatever, 3 months.
3 months, 4 months,
Uh-huh.
4 months, really. Yeah,
If we're keeping all the interest, keep it to the very last day.
absolutely. I give it all to the supervisor, I don't give it any to. The county. I don't give any to the county.
All right, move
Okay,
on to the
So
town clerk.
if anybody wants to look at any of that at any time, you're always welcome to come in. Town clerk, where am I?
We're at town hall.
I don't want to.
Which one of these is town clerk's continued,
Yep. So this is an extra, so,
but just the one page?
this is the other one, that,
Yeah, I have, oh, okay.
okay, this was just an extra, that sheet there.
Anybody want to read? Anybody?
Just,
Volunteer Jess.
I know, I was gonna say.
Yes, you want to do it? Okay.
Oh, I would love to.
That was very convincing, well done.
okay, so basically, town clerk, you have the report. Here are my bank statements, somebody wants look at them. I have monthly reports that I have to do to other organizations, so I do a monthly report to the Department of Ag and Markets, on dog licenses. Cause they get the spay neuter funds. And you'll still see Humane Society on these reports, but that disappears this year. Decals, which that's hunting and fishing licenses, so there are, there's reports monthly for that. And then there's a month to the Department of Health for marriage licenses. So these are all the monthly reports that go outside of what you go see every board meeting.
That's marriage, birth and death,
Yep.
hunting and fishing, dog. That's
Yeah,
what-
so there's three different,
Mhm.
because it's New York State DEC, New York State Department of Health, and New York State.
That's all
Ag
the
and
cash
Markets.
that the clerk's office deals with.
Yes, those reports we file
And these are all
monthly, and then
payable.
there's a report on handicap parking permits that we have to do annually.
That's one more thing.
That's, yeah, it's just,
And all those things are either we accept cash or that people can pay on our website.
we
Or
can
you
do,
accept
we
a
do,
card
we
here?
could do cards here. They can renew dog licenses online as long as their rabies vaccination is valid for the amount of time that they want to. They can do, up to 2 years of renewals online if they want to, and I got very few. I did just this week get somebody renewed their dog license online, but it doesn't happen very much, but we do accept credit cards for building permits, for marriage licenses, for hunting licenses, and we just run them all from here.
All right, so we'll start with the questionnaire, please.
Okay, is the cash receipts journal up to date?
Yes, I have, in this book, I have my copy of all of my receipt, all of my monthly reports, but I also have, the cash book financial reports that are here. I'll let Jessica look at one of them. Yeah, that's the report that prints out every month showing, so it shows the date, the name, what it was. It's because like that's a dog license. That renewal date. So you see building permits, you see different, so it's all described down through there, and then it breaks it down through here. And it does show whether, how it was paid here too. Yeah. They want it down here. They
Is
got all
the
this.
cash receipts journal maintained in a manner that identifies the date received? Yes.
Yes.
Payer, purpose, and the amount.
Yeah.
Individually or totals reference to subsidiary receipt records.
Yes.
Show us. Are undeposited cash receipts safeguarded?
Yes, they go in the vault every night.
Are duplicate deposit slips kept?
We don't write deposits
Right.
or deposit slips, yes. All the deposits, everything deposited, you'll see the copies of the deposit slips attached to the bank statements. So yes, deposit slips are duplicate,
Do the deposit amounts agree with the cash receipt amount?
yes. At the end of the month, everything balances to zero.
Are deposits made timely and recorded up to date?
Yes, we bank something at least once a week out of the,
It says no later than the third business day after $250.
yeah, 72 hours, yes. Sometimes it takes us more than 72 hours to get to $250 if we're only doing a dog licenses. Right. Yes, so yes, we do deposit at least once weekly.
Last reported deposit, date and amount?
At my bank statement.
How come half of them are upside down?
Because of the-
Level up.
Yes, to make a level.
It's the staple.
The staple. It's the staples. That's why.
Figured that out on my own.
Last deposit was 12/31/24 for $390.
Is the cash receipts journal totaled and summarized monthly?
Yes. Yes,
Okay, cash disbursements. Is the cash disbursements journal up to date? Do we
You know,
do
there
cash?
isn't really a disbursements journal because everything is paid out to the supervisor at the end of the month. So it's what shows the disbursements is the, on the monthly report that shows what is dispersed. So,
Yeah,
so that's basically, that section that says disbursements on the monthly report. That's
and the
that mail-
disbursements would be like the payments to.
right. So the payments to the supervisor, to DEC, to
Yeah.
the Humane Society, to
Yeah.
Ag and Markets, and to the Health Department.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're all shown on that monthly report in that disbursement section. But then I do still keep this too. This shows where I record the deposits and shows the checks. So everything is.
So yeah, so this is cash disbursements journal maintained in a manner to identify amounts dispersed either individually
Yeah.
or totals referenced.
That shows you. It's the same style as what the judge uses.
Are pre-numbered checks used for all the disbursements
Yep.
made by check? Yes.
Yep.
Are all the checks signed by the town clerk?
Yes. Lori is on the bank account. She could sign if I were not available. Because as the deputy clerk, she is on the bank account, so,
Yeah.
and on tax collector too.
Are canceled checks or check images returned with bank statements
Yes.
and maintained on file? Yes.
Yes,
You
Show
showed
that
us
whole thing back.
that.
can have it.
Have it all back.
I can show you they are. Yes, there's the checks on the back of the bank statement.
Is your blank check stock properly controlled?
Yes, because it's all locked in the vault.
Are checks recorded up to date?
Yes.
Okay, last check number, date, and amount.
It's gonna be,
You should be training somebody right now.
I know that. All right, so the last
See it?
check written in,
me.
the last check written in 2024 was for the November reports, was December 5th to the town supervisor to the total of $2,319.10. That was the
Yeah.
last check written
No check
in
number?
2024. 1949.
Okay. And receivable, if applicable, such as water. Are.
Well, yeah, but water,
you're
we
not
talk,
water.
we're talking about water, so.
Okay. Are receivable control accounts maintained?
I don't really have any receivables because it's what we sell. If we sell a dog license or we sell a marriage license or whatever, there isn't anything out there that is a receivable for town clerk. Except for maybe you have an annual dog license fee, a renewal fee, but it's not really a receivables. I mean, we send a bill out, we send a renewal notice out and then collect, but there's nothing there isn't really,
Receivable with that.
yeah, there really isn't, it really isn't.
I mean, there was just the dog.
Yeah, right, dog licenses. I mean, we know what we know based on a report that we can print what we should receive in dog licenses, but if they don't renew, we don't receive it.
Right.
And, if we send them another notice, sometimes we catch them up 2 years in a row, but we need to do a new dog enumeration. We either need to pass a local law to put it in with the taxes, or I'm waiting on a list as soon as Jessica could get it for me. A list of residential addresses in the town. Then we could mail our own dog enumeration. To try to catch up with more dogs.
Just become the dog enumerator when you retire.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go. Is there indication that receivable control amounts are reconciled to the detail subsidiary accounts?
Yes, it really doesn't qualify.
Yeah.
It really is not applicable.
Okay. All right. That's it.
And I do get a receipt from the supervisor from Kathy. For every monthly report that I turn in.
I get the money, she gets the receipt.
So any other questions on that?
No, thanks, Jane.
Alright.
I make a motion to accept the town clerk's financial
Actually, I
audit
have the big one.
No.
2024.
for 2024. Thank you, Anthony.
I'll second it.
Please.
We have a first and a second. Any additional questions for the town clerk? Hearing none, all in favor of accepting the audit as presented? Aye. Anybody opposed?
I oppose Jane leaving.
All right, motion carries.
You and everybody else.
Do we want to look at,
Code enforcement has been relegated to me.
Do we do Scott?
That's what I
Or do you wanna do Scott
let's do
first?
Scott quick first.
Okay, I'm gonna
Still
sit-
snowing out there, Scott?
A little bit.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
If
yeah.
we're gonna do that, I'm gonna sit down so I can take notes for. And then
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
We just been cooped up in here, I was just
end up
wondering.
that.
Oh, no, it's a blizzard from Reynoldsville that
Did
way,
those-
that way is not.
Oh, they've
Oh,
all
wow.
been.
That's wild. How often does that happen?
Probably not.
All the time.
Little lake effect.
This is the email,
No, he pointed towards Hector.
Oh,
this is the email the gentleman sent me, it still isn't exactly what I asked him for, but that's what the man sent me. We were looking at a truck at Ferrario Ford in Elmira that is
You need this back.
on sale.
Those are,
Yeah,
your-
that's-
those are yours as well. Are
Yeah.
those for us?
That's for you.
Okay.
I've been messing with it for 2 weeks, so I pretty much know what it says.
And just for clarity, this is like, just a town garage truck for all the things you guys do.
Well, it's that sort of smaller.
Smaller.
It's like our F600 we bought. But this is a 450 and it's already set up, it has a sander and plow on it.
Okay.
It does not have a wing, right?
It does not have a wing,
Did you
not
say?
sure it's going to get a wing.
Right, that's what I was gonna ask.
10-foot plow.
It's a 10-foot plow with 2-foot push-ups. On each side, foot push-ups on each side,
Well, how wide is the truck?
huh?
How wide is the body of the truck?
8 foot, whatever
8
normal.
feet and then a 10-foot plow in front of that?
We have a 10-foot plow in front of the 600.
Yeah. I
When
just-
you angle that, when you angle that and you plow down the road, you still. The 10-foot makes it nice, the littler trucks with the 8-foot, you gotta make 3 and 4 passes to open them all.
Yeah,
So pickup, 8-foot on the front of the pickup, you really basically, when it's angled, you drive in the snow. If it rolls back in
right,
and it's not wide enough.
yeah.
This being a 10-foot, and then when you're plowing, you can slide the ends out. They actually
The plow has wing like extenders.
extenders,
Huh.
so you would
They're hydraulic.
probably,
They
yes,
just-
they're hydraulic.
Oh,
That happens, it wasn't really
Talking dump.
what I was looking for, but that's how way this one's set up and. It might not hurt to try it, instead of a wing, maybe it'd be better if it was on front of you,
Smaller than the 600.
yes.
but. We're down 4 trucks right now, well, so it would be nice,
How much was the last regular pickup we bought?
I don't know, we haven't bought a regular pickup, the one, the F600,
No, the regular, like, 350 or 250 with a plow and a sander. You know how much they cost?
2020 was the last year you bought a pickup.
Yeah, but that's still like 70,000 if I remember right,
Probably, and we don't have,
without the plow or the sander.
right, then we paid 6 for the sander, and I don't know what we paid for the plow,
But
but.
I'm just comparing for right now. That we can get a 450 for not much more than, got priced out a new 2025.
Here are the prices.
3/4.
A brand new 2025 450 is $145,000. The one that we are currently looking at and discussing is a 2023, excuse me, brand new, never registered, fully equipped with the plow, sander, etc., and that's $111,499.
and it's on the lot. So
And it's
if you
sitting
It's
could-
on
on a lot right
That
now.
hits,
They'd pull it in next week and you'd be good to
Might
go.
be
or whatever.
adjustable.
All right, so I guess the sale
Oh.
price is actually $111,489.
Yes, he was,
And then there is,
and then he apologized because he was $10 off.
there is a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty available to us for $7,990. The truck you are on has been discounted $17,501.
what's in there that you you asked for but didn't get? You said here's his email and it's not what I really asked. What was it, Lee?
Yeah, what I wanted the prices, and he just give percentages. He told me that it was a new 25 was 145, and I have an email there someplace that he has that the 23 at the time was 123 and the sale price was 111. But I wanted, so you could see what it was at 25 and how much you were saving. And instead he give us that, and it says that, you know, the truck itself was 17,000 low. And then each year you can add 10%. And the stainless steel body, I think he said was 20%, you could raise that
Yep.
each year. So
You'd rather see more of a breakdown.
I wanted it, so it was simple, so you
Comparative-
guys didn't have to sit up here with a calculator. I wanted you to
That is so
square one to
thoughtful of you.
square, you know what I'm
It's-
saying? So it was in pure English instead
Yeah.
of trying to read between the lines or
It's clear
do
that,
10% and
it's
20%.
clear that 2023 truck is a good price.
I mean, our 600, I think we paid 140 or better for it.
Yeah, I think so.
We would be buying this through chips. The one thing that we do want to discuss, I think, or one aspect that is up for discussion is whether or not we want to spend almost the $7,990 on the warranty.
Which the warranty would probably be the same if we buy it now or buy it a year from now.
Yes,
Do we generally buy warranties on our vehicles?
no.
What would you do, Scott, if you were making a
The
decision?
way we have had fits with these trucks lately,
With all the electronics.
I would
do it.
pay the 8,000, and when it come up, that it was time for service, I'd take it right down there and let them do it.
Where's he located?
Elmira.
It's Miracle Mile,
Okay,
if you know what Miracle Mile.
I do.
I told somebody the old James Wood building, like, what's that?
I would have said, what's that? It sits right on a lot right out front. You won't find it you won't find it online because he took it off and hopes that we were gonna buy it.
And we have the money in that, well, in the,
Chips.
I make a motion to give the highway supervisor permission to sign a purchase, or to purchase the,
Sign a purchase agreement.
sign a purchase agreement for the 2023 Ford F-450 from Ferrario.
Do you want to speak on the warranty and that, or is that a separate? motion?
And purchase the extended eight-year,
I
7
think
year,
it's 7 years.
$100,000 Ford premium warranty for $7,990.
I'll second.
Any further questions, comments?
So the cost of the truck comes out of chips, correct?
Yes,
And the warranty we would pay on our own, or that also come out of chips?
that is something we have to determine right now.
Okay,
Actually, we probably have to pay that ourselves, don't we?
Is the warranty 7,990?
7990.
That's what I wanted. Thank you.
We pay that out of the equipment line,
Mhm,
that's 60,000.
mhm.
Are we gonna pay the rest out of chips line?
That's up to you, what you would like to do. I don't know what you were.
We don't have
gonna do
anything
with the
else.
Backhoe or what you were going to. I mean, the
Well,
backhoe, we got 60 in there. I'd have to cough up another 10 someplace for our half of the backhoe.
When does the warranty run out now, 650?
Our 650 don't have one. When does it run out? 36,000 miles. 3 years, 36,000 miles.
Got 11,000 on now.
Did somebody?
Yeah,
second
but
that
our third
resolution
year's
this
gonna
week?
be up.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah, we're
Jamie.
on
Anthony
discussion
did.
now.
I think so. I at least see what yours looks like over there. It wasn't snowing towards my house. But you probably ought to take a drive around. Just throw a bucket or something in. Don't get too loud.
My recommendation, extend the warranty on the 650.
All right,
It's trying to after the first year.
all right.
Oh, wait,
Got my warranty, the warranty's probably the same if I extend warranty.
Oh, even when you purchased it, you come back.
They're having
later.
trouble with the emissions on the 650, it goes into limp mode,
Mhm.
so it's,
Could you say that again? I didn't catch it.
we have a 650 now, it's Ford, same thing,
600.
600. They're having trouble with the engine going in limp mode. We don't wanna let the warranty,
Limp, like.
yeah, like it derates itself.
Derates
It don't
itself.
quit
so
running,
hurt
but it
itself.
has no power and it gets you back to the shop, you really can't do nothing. with it.
Okay, just what it sounds like.
Some little sensor on there or some electronic glitch shuts it down. I say we buy the extended warranty on this 600 because it's gonna run out. It's 3 year, 30,000
We've
miles.
already got at least 2 years on it.
That's what I'm saying is we ought to be able to buy the extended warranty right now before it runs out on the 600, which has issues, which we know about, even though it should still be covered because the issues are before the warranty runs out. Well, it might be practical to spend the $8,000 on the warranty for the 600 and let this run for 2 years and then buy the.
And then get the warranty.
Or at least through this year and next year by the warranty.
Got it.
Can you double check that's an option?
I will,
Well,
Just.
Those are
Make sure
separate.
we are able to buy. that.
Cause they always send you right, you always get phone calls. Right?
yeah, but this is
Extended
actually
warranty,
through the
yeah.
dealer, that's not. That phone call you get ain't through the dealer.
The dealer still doesn't.
Is it-
Transfer it to somebody else.
Is the motion on the table with the warranty?
It
It
did.
It did,
Oh, okay.
but can be amended.
Bill Scott, Town of Hector Highway Superintendent.
Yes.
Hey, we have a question on the warranty on these trucks. We have that F600 that we bought off you guys that the engine light's still on. Can we buy that warranty any time?
How many miles on it?
I don't know, less than 20, 11 maybe. Paul,
How long have you had it?
2 years.
Oh, yeah, you can buy a warranty.
Well, we were kind of worried about buying a warranty and putting it on that 600 and then.
You can do that.
Yes, and then on the 450, maybe buy the warranty next year on next year's budget. Would that be something that would be feasible?
Oh, absolutely. As long as you're not on a factory warranty, you can still buy it extended.
Okay,
Okay, that's what they wanted to know, to make sure. As of right now, if you can get me a purchase agreement, I believe we would like to buy that truck.
Okay, I'll have them, text me over your fax number, or you wanna email over to you?
Email's fine, and I'll just, one thing at a time, I just learned how to do email, now you want me to fax?
Going backwards. You're going
Fax is
backwards in
easier,
technical-
Scott.
technological terms.
So, do you want that warranty separate?
yeah,
Yes,
Yes, and yes, I would. I want that separate because we're gonna pay for that out of something different.
Alright, I'll let them know.
Oh.
Alright, sir.
All right? All right, thank you. Bye.
all right, so let's amend that to remove the warranty and just do the truck purchase.
That change.
And then
With enthusiasm.
at the next board meeting, let's get paperwork together for the warranty
For the other one.
for the other truck. I think that makes a lot of sense since we are seeing problems.
okay, so now you need to vote on to
All right,
purchase the truck for $111,489. But what I heard was $60,000 out of the current equipment line and the rest out of chips, or
let's do this out of chips.
Yes.
all out of chips?
All out of chips. All out of chips.
From chips funds, okay.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right,
Alright.
all in favor?
I,
Aye. Anybody opposed?
Scott said we were buying it before we voted.
he said maybe. He did say maybe.
He did, actually, he said,
Thank you.
There was a qualifier in the language.
I did hear, he says,
I think.
I think maybe we are.
I'm in favor.
Well, that's rather presumptuous.
all right, is anybody opposed? Anybody wish to abstain? All right, we'll have a new truck coming on, fine. And do we have, while we're doing this other business, do we have that other, the.
How quickly do they deliver? Within a couple days?
That's on the desk.
I don't know whether we write the check or what, it sits there, we can
They probably gotta bring it in and go through it.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta sign on it, we gotta do
Yeah,
stuff like
I'm
that,
sure that.
but we can do that probably next week.
Yeah, I'm sure they have to,
You
we
can
have to
go
get the
over the
purchase agreement and,
I can get you that check. We can work on
And-
that, we can go for a ride and go get it or something next week.
yeah, there you go. It's white, just like the one we got.
I was telling them we saw a couple sitting on the lot down in Pennsylvania the other night.
I have a note here. Not everybody calls and screams at me. Bill Burnside and Annie from Peach Orchard Point. Your road crew is fantastic. Peach Orchard Point is very. And that says thankful.
That's
Cool.
nice.
I always,
Thank
I take them to
you.
the guys when they,
Yeah, it's nice to get your positive.
it is, it's very nice. And not everybody's a pain out there.
We got
but
a
there are
nice,
few.
we got a nice letter at the end last time, and it's like, we
Yeah,
also deal with a lot of not nice notes.
Yeah, it's nice when you get it,
All right,
especially when you're trying.
thank you, Scott, for
Good.
working with us today and
Scott.
continuing and chasing on and finding these numbers for us. We have our three, make sure you hold on to the three other bid prices. I'll bring you those ones that I have, so we can keep them on file in
Okay,
case
you
you get
got
audited.
there's two more up there, two more papers up there too,
Yeah, we will find them.
with my note, with my
Yes.
napkin.
Yeah.
My napkin I probably
It's
don't
very
need, but
official.
the other two, we can put in the,
Or we write the dollar amounts on one of them and.
and we'll put it in the. And I also have on my computer bid quotes
Okay,
that we,
file it.
in my file in
Perfect.
there too. So.
Thank you.
is that-
appreciate it.
I'm good or?
You're good.
Okay, all right.
Scott.
Thank you.
Enjoy this Jason Snowflakes.
So I have
Yeah.
one other business item, since we're kind of taking a quick break from the audit. As we all know that we're in at the hotel, the town of Hector had charges against its credit card. We have essentially maxed out what is our current available credit on the card, and what I had proposed with these vouchers is we pay down the two large purchases that were made earlier in the month, so that if something else has to be purchased between now and mid-March when the checks would hit, we would,
That's what the issue was, and
yeah.
Yeah, that in the end, and I'm sorry about that. When I ordered those, I
Didn't even think about it.
didn't even think about you're going to New York and taking the credit card with you to pay for the hotel.
So
But we were out of window envelopes for the town hall, and then water district didn't have enough for the next billing that goes out in March, so we ordered both.
So each order of envelopes with postage is $1,786. So there's two of those that are identical, and we have a $5,000 credit card limit currently. So when we paid for the two of these, we're filled up most of the credit card, and then we paid for the rental car and a deposit on the judges and the clerks. So, boom. I will be meeting next week to update security clearances with the bank, because that was another issue that we discovered, is a lot of security information is out of date, so. You know, I can't, they say my phone number and my email, et cetera, are not correct, the town's birth
Right.
date is incorrect, et cetera, et cetera, so I'm gonna be correcting that and discussing with him options, because I think we might move it up the credit
And-
limit to 8,000 to 10,000.
And
Because with inflation,
honestly, we don't know why the bank didn't update those when Justin was elected and the account were all changed over to Justin. So, so these are going as a prepaid. They will show up on the March abstract, but we need to write checks and send them out.
When the bank asked Justin for his birthday, with the automatic teller, and he's given him his birthday. Town's birthday.
yeah, Mike listened to me going through all of this.
You're like, how, let's try this date.
what were you doing?
Maybe it's still-
1802.
But,
Well, yeah,
but it could
you have a
be,
business account, you're like, what's the birth date for?
A business account, yeah, so was it mine? I
well,
thought,
they usually tie it to the signer, the primary signer on the account.
I assumed with Mike and I being the two signers on this account, that any question that they would throw at me between the two of us sitting side by side.
You'd know.
How come there's,
And we did.
Because it's the exact same dollar.
oh, one's water district, one's
Yeah,
general.
one's general fund,
And
one's
no.
water district, so it's two checks.
So we're gonna correct that, we're gonna discuss, we'll probably have to pass a resolution at the March meeting to,
Just sign these or initial
yeah,
that?
just-
Yeah, just initial them. There'll be a prepay on the next
For
abstract.
The meals, if we paid for them on our private credit card,
We
I
can
mean, I
get-
didn't get a receipt
you-
from that Mexican restaurant. They didn't give me one. I didn't know what was going on at
Right,
the
no.
time. I'm like, I just handled, Justin, you
Can
wanna
you-
pay for this
can-
for sure?
can A copy of your
I have
credit
a
card
credit card,
statement.
yeah.
Yes, a copy of your credit card
Yeah,
statement
yeah.
showing the charge would be,
Yep.
would be okay.
Okay.
Just something
Yeah,
that
Mike,
documents the charge.
I have the
that
receipts
you-
for the
Block
room
out your account.
that were emailed to me, so
Yeah.
we'll have to connect, I'll have to give you the
Yeah.
receipts,
Okay.
and then you can submit for your card.
Yeah, so you just
Yeah,
need,
when do we have to get that to you? I mean,
by the Friday before the board meeting, please.
By the Friday, yeah, if you have stuff,
I've got the motel receipt from my card.
you shouldn't have any receipt from your.
No,
phone.
they kept it on my card.
They
They
should
should
have,
have,
When we
'cause it
checked
should have
out.
been.
should have been right.
Does your card show both rooms?
You get the receipt, Justin's got the receipt.
I had receipts, I think, from both rooms.
Oh,
So we asked
Oh,
for
we
your
checked it
room to
out.
be paid, but not to check you guys out.
well, that might be why I hadn't seen it as of yesterday on my own credit card statement.
That would probably be right, but you might have gotten the receipt because it was tied to you email wise, but not card wise, because we updated so that your room went out on Mike's. But,
Okay,
and we didn't want to check, we couldn't check you out because if we checked you out at that point in time, you wouldn't have been able to get in your room to get your bags.
yeah. Okay, yeah, because she said, are you using the same card you held the room with? And I said, yes. And then I got a receipt that there was, it was not there. I mean, I've got the sheet. And so if I get a charge on my credit
Yeah.
card, I'll need to tell them.
They're double
Well,
charged.
we'll have to double check. with
We'll work
Mike.
on it,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
All right, I'll keep an eye on that.
keep an
one,
eye on it,
yeah.
otherwise we'll get it all squared away before the Friday before next, so 2 weeks from now. All right,
So you will write these.
I will write these checks.
Checks.
Actually, I can only have one big check.
Counts.
No.
Oh, the water.
They told me that
Water.
afterwards, that they had put it on Mike's account.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay,
Are we doing a resolution to approve that as a prepay? You don't have to, because it's a prepay and postage is allowed as a prepay,
then let's not,
so we don't, but we're just gonna,
we did a prepay for
Discussed it.
postage and
Yep.
discussed, and then we
Prepay.
will, it'll be on our regular audit slip next time without the check code. All right, let's get back on track, I just figured we get those side business items out of the way. And
okay.
We'll move on to
so-
code enforcement.
Code enforcement. Tons of fun.
So we have two packets here.
You have, all right, so what you,
Thank you. Looks like one has an extra couple sheets.
you have two?
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
they're a little
no.
different. At the end.
Okay,
this
these,
one-
I must have cut. Yeah, that's the one you want.
Okay,
You don't want this one. I
Okay.
don't know how you got an extra, but okay.
special.
Yes, you're special. So what you have is Jason's report. And then the last couple of pages of that, that's in a different format, is from my town clerk's program. So Jason and I do this balancing every single month for the fees that come in through codes, because all of those monies, he collects the fee with the permit application, if it's a check or cash, and then turns it into us with the actual permit when the permit's issued. So if you look at his bottom line and my bottom line, you will see the numbers will all come out together, and what we, total revenues, are for building permits, other permits, that was like a fireworks show, I believe, fire inspections, and then permit renewals. And so the bottom line on my report should match the numbers on his, the 30,000. 570.05. So basically, what I keep on file in my office is, this is our monthly report where I run off what was collected in building permits. And I watch the numbers so that the numbers of permits follow through from one to whatever many in the year. And then he starts out with one in the new year. And then I keep just a copy of it with this report. So I keep that here. So at any point in time, we can go back and look at a permit if we should need to look at the permit. Because he's got all of that, rest of that paperwork is either in his computer or
whatever file that he keeps it in down there, so.
All right, let's
Um,
start doing the questions. And some of these, once again, don't really apply per se. Because
Well, in all, right, some of the. Like last check written or whatever, he doesn't write any check.
Yeah,
So that's not applicable.
yeah, that comes out of my account.
Right, and
And the
then,
cash disbursements even too.
right, but is cash,
Oh, yeah.
well, yeah, because the cash disbursements all come through the town clerk. So you can put a note there that that's through town clerk's records.
Okay, so cash receipts, is the cash receipt journal up to date? That would be all the,
That would be all of these that are done, and you have, for that report, that's what that would be the cash receipts report that went through the town clerk. So that's all of the codes transactions that went through.
is the cash receipts journal maintained in a manner that identifies the date received, payer, purpose, and amount? So that would once again be yes, because they're essentially,
It's the same as mine.
well,
yeah.
that and they issue the permit, which means they paid
Right.
their.
Right,
Are duplicate deposit slips kept?
yes, because that's through town clerk, yes,
Do deposit amounts agree with the cash receipts amount?
yes.
Last recorded deposit?
Last recorded deposit was 12/31/24.
Any idea how much?
That was the same one on my town clerks.
Is that-
Yeah,
Um, yeah. 300 or something. Recorded deposit. I don't know which one it was. No, that's wait a minute. 12/31 was $105
okay,
or 300 and 390. There were two deposits done on 12/31. There was one remote, one cash. So it was 105 cash and 390 was checks.
okay. Undeposited cash receipts safeguarded, yeah, they're in the
Yes.
vault. Is cash receipts journal totaled and summarized monthly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because there's one right there.
The cash disbursement side's all through the clerk's office, correct?
Yes. So that just. See clerk's report.
Cash reconciliation. Are they reconciled? Yes.
Yes,
By whom? Clerk.
by the clerk and by the code guy, because what we do is I print out. My report. His report, he does monthly. And we always, before the board meeting, before he actually sends me his report, we double check that the dollar amounts that I actually physically deposited and the dollar amounts on permits he's issued match.
So
So
where
we do
it
that.
says who reviews and verifies them, I said they countersign basically? You can-
Yes, yeah. It's like he'll prepare his end of it, I'll countersign it with mine. Cause we make sure we don't have anything missing.
The bank reconciliation performed timely after the bank statement was received. Yes, I'm gonna say C. Clerk.
See clerk. Bank account, yeah.
They are documented and available for review.
Yes, they are.
Does the reconciled bank balance agree with the cash balance recorded in the accounting records?
Good, my records, yes. Yes,
The bank has deposited the securities as we've
Yeah.
discussed. Is accountability what the department owes determined at the end of each month? They don't
Yes.
really- Yeah,
yes, because you get everything monthly from
Monthly,
him
or
with it, it's
in the-
included. In
in
my
our-
check is include.
yes, in your check,
Building permit fees, yes,
does the accountability agree with bank reconciliation and supporting records?
yes. It does.
Are the receipts for the year comparable with those of previous years?
I think on
Done.
on the bottom back sheet side of my report, go to my, this one, my town clerk's one. The. I got stapled to the wrong thing. Or no, yes, that's the Humane Society thing.
Yeah.
They're
Yes.
up 4,000.
Yes, his building permit fees were up $4,210. And that would be
The
from the increase
increase
that we
in the- yep.
instituted in 2024. So he did have an increase in
Okay.
revenue.
Increase.
And what I didn't tell you on the town clerk's
due
report
to-
was
Hmm.
I gave you a synopsis of dogs for the year 2024, so you could really see the whole picture of
Just nice.
what the town's end was. Yep.
Updated fees.
And that's just for you guys for knowledge for another year of whatever we end up doing.
There are significant safeguards for protection of
that's
records and
Full
cash,
report from Humane
such
Society.
as safe, lockable cabinet, all that stuff.
I believe
Although
he has a lockable file cabinet down there.
He does.
And then he brings
The
things up
money comes
here
up here
and
too.
then, yep, and then we take care of it from here. So he might have we never give him cash with a permit application. We keep the cash here with a note on it in our cash box that says it's for so-and-so's permit until we have the permit to match with it. So he doesn't have cash down there, but he would have checks that people write him
Yep.
when they're there. And if anybody brings him cash, he usually comes up that day with the cash. So he doesn't ever hang on to cash down there.
Financial reporting, are there monthly reports and payments to the chief fiscal officer? I would say yes, but I'd also say see the clerk because those payments come through the clerk's office.
Right.
And that shows up on her report. Are monthly reports and payments to other appropriate officials, individuals, entities, or agencies timely? Yes, those are the reports that he submits to the board for each board meeting.
Right. Which he submits to me before the board meeting.
Do amounts reported agree with summarized cash receipts and disbursement book?
Yes, because it's all through mine that you've already looked at.
Do annual reports prepared and submitted timely? Yes, because we just looked at that.
Right. And he does have an annual report that has to be in by sometime in March to the
To
state
the state.
Division of Fire and Building Codes, which I know he is working on. I think he might even actually have it ready to be submitted. He just didn't want to submit it before going on vacation.
Are receivable, this is if applicable, are receivable control accounts maintained, but he doesn't really have
No,
that.
he doesn't have any. Yeah, that's not applicable.
Is there any indication that receivable control? Yeah, that's all he doesn't have. Okay.
Right. And all of his money comes through me, so he never hangs, he doesn't hang on money necessarily, so he doesn't deposit into any bank account. It all comes through me.
So that's all the questions.
I make a motion to accept the town permit budget code enforcement for 2024.
Second it.
Here we have a first and second to accept the code enforcement audit report. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna sign this and then pass it around. Last but not least, under you, Jane, is
Water district,
Water District.
which water district is much more paper. So you see, I put water district in a spreadsheet, so that's how I can actually balance it. And I do a monthly report, which you see at the board meetings, which also then goes to Kathy, and that's how she balances all of the deposits that have been made into the water fund. Because Lori and I do the collection end of it, Lori does the billing end of it. I prepare most of the receipts,
Oh,
Lori does the remote deposits. If we deposit checks, Lori does the remote deposits that go to the bank, but I oversee all of that, and I do this balancing at the end of every month. And at the end of the year. So I set up this spreadsheet a few years ago, which makes it a whole lot easier for tabulating the 12 months of receipts. So you can see everything, it comes out in balances. All your balancing is on the second page of the report, the one that's signed by me at the collection end of it. So it shows what the outstanding balances were. The net arrears at the beginning of the year shows what was collected for the year under each, what was left outstanding for the entire year. But then it also, you have the beginning year, that 37,441.10 is the dollar amount that was open, I guess that would be the receivables. That 37,441.10 would be the receivables that were due remaining on the account, or that's what's from the billing, that's what's in your accounting records. So that shows the billings added, the receipts paid, what we received for water bills, and then showing that outstanding balance at the end of the year was the 45,461.04. So this spreadsheet happens to balance it like 3 different ways, so.
All right,
And all of that funnels through to the supervisor. We do the deposits, we do the remote deposits and the cash deposits, the credit card deposits automatically go into the supervisors, the water
water
fund,
fund.
the water fund.
Paid through our website or people?
They can pay through the website, or they can pay in person with a credit card too. So it all actually, any credit card, we go to the website, log in as the clerk, and can run a credit card for the water department is when we're logged in as the clerk. Or they can go online and do it themselves. So
So for the cash receipts, we can see supervisor report.
well, your cash receipts, no, because your cash receipts will be here. Just open it up to one in the middle. There's a cash receipts. So when we do a deposit, that sheet is what shows was received and deposited,
Big water bill, Justin.
right?
Do I?
So what month is that? What month are you in right now?
Like August.
August?
I let
Okay.
2 or 3 slide.
You're not supposed to look at that.
He's looking till we see a zero balance, no more Justin.
What I'm looking for is the backup that goes with that. Cause I gave you August, okay. This is the backup that has the deposits and everything that's included in it. So wrapped in this deposits, this is a deposit slip right here on top. And inside that is the individual water receipts that we have to match it. So this was you'd actually be able to find the dollar amount of that deposit. Was it that number, 5,000?
5,017.37.
Gotta be in one of- it's- Right? Well, she's not getting all of them, I'm taking one.
Good, thank you.
So that one was 5,
She's correct.
is that right?
How come Liz has a
Okay.
cookie down there?
Mike,
Yeah.
the cookie berry.
5,000, there it is.
All
All right. So there's that one, the $5,017.37.
Yep.
So we have this, and when this information also goes to Kathy, for the accounting records. And so what we end up breaking out of it is the reserve fund monies that were received, and then the rest of it goes into the water fund. So then she would book the dollar amount from that deposit to the reserve fund.
And that's different than the repair fund?
That is the
That is
the repair reserve fund, yes. So that's one whole month's water
So I think what
receipts.
you just showed us that the deposit amounts do agree with the cash receipts now.
Yes.
You have to share, there's only 2 cookies left.
And you took the best one, I said.
No, I shared with the.
Do we have any way to see that the deposits were made in timely order?
That goes through your records, or, well,
Yeah, that would go through mine.
yeah, cause you have the bank statement that would match them, but yeah, we try to deposit, at least weekly. Depends on how much we have as to what we deposit, cause, we try to do a fairly full.
Deposit. Yeah, undeposited cash receipts are safeguarded
Mm-hmm.
and the cash receipts journal is totaled and summarized monthly. We just saw that.
Yep.
On 2 different forms.
Yes.
Is the cash disbursement journal up to date?
We don't do. The billing and collection end of it, we don't do any disbursements because all the monies is deposited into
And I do
your,
all that. So
your
I'm gonna
bank
say
account.
C.
I think I like that, whatever that thing is, better than the cookie. And I love Janine's cookies.
Uh-huh.
The reconciliation is done.
Same here, sure.
Yeah.
Did anybody else wanna see the water billing and collection binder?
Monthly,
Last chance, John.
just, reconciliations are done, the accounts done by Kathy and I looked through it further, so I'm gonna say, is the reconcile done timely? Yes, and I'm gonna say C. Supervisor.
Does anybody have any
Sorry,
questions on the procedures or the way that we handle it in our office?
Good.
Gave you the snickerdoodle.
These are pretty much
It
the
was the
standard
best.
questions. Are they, has the bank pledged the adequate securities? We all know
Yes.
they have. Is accountability what the department owes determined at the end of each month? Yes, that's what we do in the audit meeting. All the bills that the water department pays go through the audit process monthly. The accountability agree with bank reconciliation, yes. If you look at the bank reconciliation, you can see all the checks come out. Are receipts for the years comparables with those of previous years?
Yes, pretty much.
Alright.
Although we did probably have about an $8,000 or $9,000 larger re-levy
More people didn't pay than
where people
usual?
didn't pay.
But that's not, well,
So it would make your receipts a little less,
right, but with the
would
relevy, yeah,
yeah. I'd,
Is 8,000 like for water district? I mean, how much is a yearly water bill? About 1,000?
a standard one could be around $500 or $600, depending on
Oh,
the water.
more like 16 people who are.
No, it was more like 25 or 30.
it was 25 or 30 out of 660 and so pretty small for fun.
Mhm.
Are there significant safeguards for the protection of records and cash such as safe? Yes, we
Yes.
know there are. Are monthly reports and payments to the chief fiscal officer timely? That doesn't really apply.
Well, yeah, it does. I do that report
You do the report, but there's not a
timely, yeah.
payment, but not payment. I was just thinking payments. But yes, the reports
The
are.
report is because you get it once a month.
Are monthly reports and payments to other appropriate officials timely? Yes, that's the report that we all get for the audit meetings. Do
For the
amounts,
most part, I try to get them to you by the meeting.
reports agree with summarized cash receipts with disbursement books? That's the,
On the report I give you monthly, there's a corner on there that shows the prior month dollar amount, what was billed, what was collected, and what the new balance is.
right,
And that's what Kathy and I balance to monthly.
are annual reports prepared and submitted timely? We just looked at that.
Mhm.
And Josh, any other legal ones he prepares on a monthly basis? That's when he says during the meeting that all reports to DOH and DEC are submitted. Do annual reports agree with the records? Yeah, if you could pair this up with your report monthly,
Mhm.
and there's no receivable control accounts. All right. Water district,
I'll make a motion to approve the 2024 billing and collection audit record reports.
I second the motion.
we have a first and a second for the water district, annual record keeping requirements audit. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Fine.
No, anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? Right, should we just have this one be the signature one?
Mm. Yes.
Must be because this is the one that I checked on,
Yeah, is that what you took off of here?
yeah. You wrote water district on the top.
Yep. Plus then my report that was with it. Should be,
Signed also.
I think I wrote something on one of them.
I didn't see it on the water report, I found it on.
Maybe I didn't write on one of them, I thought I did,
Well, I'll just sign this one.
just do one of them. That was the one.
Okay, Jess. Top of this and this page, both will sign. Okay, we have an annual report from our town historian.
She doesn't collect any monies, so she just basically gives you a report of what she's done.
You want me to read it?
Sure.
Town of Hector Historian's Yearly Report, 2024. Things are moving along smoothly. I am serving as secretary on the Backboard and Ridge History Group. We have been trying to upgrade our building in Lodi. There is much needed new metal roof, new front porch steps. Next will be some interior work. We presented 2 programs this year at the Burdett Firehouse. The first was presented by Schuyler County historian Gary Emerson on the railroad. The second program was presented by Marty Evans, our Burdett historian on the Underground Railroad. Both were attended very well. I've been working on articles for the BRHG newsletter, Backboard and Ridge Historic Group. And first installment was in December's on the Underground Railroad, to be continued in the next newsletter in April. We put up a display at the Trumansburg Fair again this year. This year I started serving on the Schuyler County Historical Society's Collections Committee, meeting once a month. Due to renovations at the museum, we are on hold for now. I can continue to collect items and such, and hope you are still working on upgrading me to the town level with space and an office. I've had several inquiries through email and phone for information on different families, persons, and pictures in the Hector area. I'm still working with APHNSY on their Registered Historians Committee. Attended by Zoom, the 2024 conference. The 2025 conference will be in Portland, which I will plan on attending. Historian, Sandra Bradford.
Don't we have space for her in the library now? That she could
I
be-
think so, but did anybody ever
It's
tell
not-
her?
Yeah, it was said that the library would provide space,
Seems more.
Yeah,
realistic.
that was the
Had it written on.
but,
Oh, I
I
didn't
mean,
see.
it would provide space for her filing cabinets or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was 2 or 3, I can't remember.
Which
but-
was-
Well, I will reach out to the library and find this out for sure, and then I can reach out to Sandra and say we do have some filing cabinets
Here's-
secured for you, and
No, we have space for her filing.
yeah,
Well, no, it's,
Please go to June.
it,
Yeah.
basically,
To the chair behind.
she needs more filing space. And we do have some empty file cabinets that could be used, but we haven't.
Yeah, the concern for the offer from the library, I think, was based on the fact that all the records right now are in her
At her
garage,
right.
at her
Yes.
house, and
That's not
Yes.
the deal.
I don't
Something
think
would happen.
that the body was thinking about adding extra filing. I don't know. You're just thinking we need to put it more centrally located.
Yes,
Very quick.
No, there's a set of questions. This needs to be
Okay.
done.
well, there's really no questions on the historian.
Yeah, there's no questions
There's
on
no
this.
questions
So,
required on the
Do we
historian's.
have
one,
a
it's just
motion to
You
accept her report?
accept her report, so.
I do, so moved.
We have a second?
One second.
All right, we have a first and second to accept the historian's written report. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Grab one thing from the vault, I will be ready to start mine.
That was real funny. You and Jane were talking at the same time, and she was like your echo, saying the same thing.
Oops.
What'd you say, Anthony? You had to go?
I mean, I'll give you this one, but I just like, it's, yeah.
You're supposed to
We'll
be
be
working
fine.
gonna be
now.
late for
You need to
work.
be somewhere else.
I mean, I thought I could fake work from, yeah, never mind. It's okay, I can do that. I gotta call at 3:30.
We will be done.
Will not,
Will not be done before 30.
But go if you need to go.
Go.
I mean,
Go.
we've got a quorum without Jimmy.
the cough's on better. With the meds.
Yeah, I tried to. keep it.
All right,
Still-
let's move forward. I will tell you right now, I did not print out receipt and disbursement journals because with all the accounts for each of them, it would have been pages and pages. You are more than welcome to sit down with Kathy at any point in time, and she is happy to review them with you. Just sharing that.
Do we have a paper?
Yes.
Yes, right here, and there's the supervisor's report to sign off on when we're all done.
So just this one for right now.
Yeah, that one for now, and then
Yeah, I
this
can
one, will
tell
be
you
the second part.
I'm going for it. Here we go. All right, Mr. Supervisor, we're gonna start talking about cash receipts first. Is the cash receipt journals up to date?
Okay, yes, it is. However, the majority of the money that comes in for the supervisor, I get a check monthly from Jane. We get the money that comes in through Smith Park. Taxation, there are certain things. When Jane gives me a check for taxes, et cetera, we also get a bunch of direct deposits. A lot of the stuff comes from the state, so we don't necessarily have, but it is here. Printed out. Who wants to look? And then if it's not in there, it's in the computer system.
Funny, all our receipt books are exactly.
We're real brand loyal, huh? Is
As
the
long as
cash,
it's a triplicate receipt.
is the cash receipt journal maintained in a manner that identifies the date received, payer, purpose, and amount either individually or total reference to subsidiary receipt reports,
Yes.
water rent, etc.
Mhm.
Are undeposited cash receipts safeguarded
Yes,
with your life?
with my life. I lock myself in the vault every night with them.
Who's the creepy guy in the?
He's gotta get through me first.
Are duplicate deposit slips kept?
Yes, they are. We're in here. Over the last years. Normally what happens is when it goes into the checkbook appropriately, and then at the end of the year, they get moved, and I think Kathy has filed them appropriately, but just like they're the exact same deposit slips that everybody else in the town uses.
Yeah. Do deposit amounts agree with cash receipt amounts?
Yes,
Are deposits made timely, recorded, up to date, and what is the last report deposit? Of 2024.
well, I have a last
Checks of 2024, if you have the last
Here's,
bank
yep,
statement.
yep. When do you want? For the fire fund, the last credit was on 12/30 for $533.55.
That number.
That was a deposit. It wasn't a check.
Is the cash receipt journal totaled and summarized monthly?
Yes, it is.
We're ready to talk about cash disbursements. Is the cash disbursement journal up to date?
Yes.
Is the cash disbursement journal maintained in a manner to identify amounts dispersed either individually or totals referenced to abstracts or payments?
Everything's done through everything's done through abstracts that we all sign on a monthly basis.
Other than payrolls.
Payrolls, there's a separate section about payroll.
Are pre-numbered checks used for all disbursements other
Yes.
than petty cash?
Yes.
Are all checks signed by the chief fiscal officer and co-signed if required?
We don't co-sign, but Mike and I are the only two that are authorized to sign, so they all are signed by one of us.
If the checks are signed electronically, is the signature stamp or stuff?
NA,
Are canceled checks or check images returned as bank statements and maintained?
yes, and I believe I showed that once. Yeah. Here's an example. And you can see that they're all numbered and filled out.
Are all unused checks properly controlled? The blank check stock.
The blank check stock is locked in the vault, so,
Are checks recorded up to date?
yes.
And the last recorded check, number, date, and amount for 2024?
Here is, since there are multiple accounts, here's the list for each account.
Just attach that to the form.
You could.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah,
That'd be
just staple
helpful.
it to that report.
Yeah,
That makes
Um,
it easier.
yeah.
Is the cash disbursement journal totaled and summarized monthly?
Yes, which is kind of the supervisor's report. Essentially, it shows what was spent out of each account on a monthly basis and what's left in the account.
Okay, so that's the supervisor's report. Are payments supported by appropriate documentation? Consider comparing a sample of disbursements with supporting documents.
That's the vouchers that we,
Right, and you see the vouchers every month. But just as a refresher, this one for that postage and the envelopes has an attachment that was what was processed for the order. So there's always something attached to this that supports the payment that is on the voucher.
yeah, there's always like a receipt or the invoice or, you know, whatever we're spending in a brief description of what it is. Sometimes it's really brief, but there's always something.
Cash reconciliations. Are the bank accounts reconciled?
They are reconciled on a monthly basis, and I'm trying to figure out what I did, because I showed you that.
Yeah,
I've
so
showed you
what
that
you
a
did
couple
was-
times today, and I'm not sure what I've done with it since then.
That one reconciliation you had?
That was for each account for the,
And what
there's
did you
deposit
do?
tickets, by the way.
I don't know what you did with it.
I don't know what I did with it, but I showed it off to
had
you
at one
guys.
point, But I don't know what it's not right here.
By the way, in Jane's chair.
I didn't take it, but I will look to make sure that he didn't put it in my pile.
But yes, they are done within a month. Each month.
Oh, the reconciliation report?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah,
reconciliation, yeah, it all gets shared with each of us every month.
Yeah.
So it's done by you.
Kathy, and then I look at it. review that.
I think I've done, what's next?
Yeah, it didn't get over here with my stuff, so I don't know what happened.
Times every other.
Well, we've seen them. I've shown it off on a couple. Yep.
Yeah,
Is the bank reconciliation performed by a person whose job duties do not include maintaining either the cash receipts or disbursement journals or receiving or disbursing cash?
Not really. Cause all of us, I mean, all of that kind of falls into me, Kathy, Janine a little bit, Jane a little bit. So all parties, well, Kathy and I are. to
but
both.
you review
I
everything.
review it.
You review everything at the end of the month and
Right.
you frequently discuss things with Kathy.
Yeah. So even though
Um,
she's involved,
He could print them, he could look at them and print them out of the accounting program himself. So at least he does have a way to look at them, but is it somebody else that prepares that reconciliation? Probably. Because it's so automated, probably not.
Okay. Is the bank reconciliation performed timely after the bank statement is received?
yes,
And can you give me the last bank reconciliation for each account?
Oh,
that was what why I had that. sitting there.
yeah, and I don't, did it end up in somebody else's pile?
You had it, I saw it.
No, I look guilty, but I don't think I want
Cause I know we had
I
it.
gave it to you, Doug.
They were all done in January, so the end.
For the end of December.
Dig in your office and come back there and get the other paperwork.
Don't think so. So I just ran into the vault to grab a checkbook to show that off.
We didn't walk out of here with any paper either.
It's not days.
No, those are the two vouchers we need.
Yes, but we can revisit that if it's important for the exact date of each one. They were all
Yeah.
done, let's say,
If I just look through all
January
that stuff, I don't have it.
15th. And that would be fire, water, general, and highway, and that's it.
Yeah, 'cause
Well, no,
fire,
and
fire and ambulance are to get trusted. agency.
trust and agency also.
You gave Scott when you gave him all those things, I bet.
Like might have.
I bet it
She's
ended
the only
up,
one that walked out here with paper that Justin had, and they
Yep.
had all those.
His napkin and.
Yes.
Our
it would have got stuck to his.
Our reconciliations documented and available for review.
Yeah, you guys get copies of them all.
And does the reconciled bank balance agree with the cash balance recorded in the accounting records?
Yes, and you can see on the reconciliation report, it shows uncleared checks as well as pending deposits, so it all adds up.
Receivables, are receivable control accounts maintained?
I guess in the January of each year, that would be the only time we have a receivable account, really, the pending. No, not receivable. We don't really have a receivable.
We have an accounts payable or encumbered funds.
Receivable, about the only receivables that we
Would
have
be
would be the
taxes.
taxes. And those are completed.
Yes.
We know how much money we're supposed to get for taxes and the tax collection delivers that.
Sure.
That's about the only receivable we have.
Is there indication that the receivable control accounts are reconciled to the detailed subsidiary records?
Well, we make sure we get the tax payment, so yeah.
That's not true, you get the park receivables for the.
Yes, but the only way that he gets them is as they're turned in, so do they have a list of receivables of those? He does not, but your park manager does.
Yeah, that's true.
We're next gonna talk about investment records. Is an investment record maintained?
All of the IMA accounts are reconciled each month, and we do have a record in the supervisor's report. On each one, it says, there's general fund, cash and savings. And that's how much is in the IMA, basically a money market account.
Okay, and is the record complete and up to date?
Yes,
We're gonna talk about deposit protection. Has the bank pledged adequate eligible securities to protect deposits and investments under the custody of the chief fiscal officer that exceeds FDIC insurance protection?
yes, that's the thing we've shown a couple times already.
Indebtedness record. This record is maintained by the clerk in some governments.
The clerk does maintain this, but I did bring in copies to show you. We have on the two bonds, we only maintain 2 bonds. There's a record of how much money, when it's due, when it's paid. I've paid, for example, this year, I paid the first bond payment.
What are the 2 bonds in the water?
Both in water. In fact, the one bond we took out to replace all the meters.
That should be.
And that will be paid off on May 1st, 26. So we're real close.
And the other one was for the extension.
Yeah, the other one was for the extension, and that goes on until 2039.
We'll talk about property records. Are property records maintained?
So yes and no, we haven't done an updated one of this building in a while, but we as a board, we get the report each year from highway that is all the equipment, which I need the latest one of those because I need to review that with Kathy for something.
Okay. November.
Was that in November's?
We did it in November or December, yes.
So yeah,
And I think Smith Park has one.
Smith Park has done
Has
one
a
in the
separate
past.
one. Probably Josh has a separate one for water.
I have seen the water one in the past, which we should probably have
So-
updated.
We probably, what we do is every year when we buy things, when Diane was here last year, she scanned and updated as much of that as she could, scanning the vouchers into a, a program that, tracks those physical assets. And, we have all of the 0.2 vouchers from every year. We pull them out separately, so, they are in 2 boxes in the vault that is the, fixed assets. And 2024 probably needs to be caught up by scanning them in.
Okay, and it says are all fixed assets included in the records? Seems like they should be.
Yeah, there's 2 boxes in the vault that, the backup for everything.
Are physical inventories taken and compared to the records?
Annually, for example, the highway department, when they update, that's compared to the records, but they do the physical inventory, and like this thing needs to be removed, this needs to be removed, this needs to be added.
Okay. We'll talk about financial reporting. Our interim reports, budget, actual trial balances, et cetera, prepared.
That's your supervisor's report.
Are these reports distributed to the governing board and department head?
Yep.
Does the total year-end recorded cash agree with the reported in the annual financial report?
Yes. You can't submit the annual financial report without a match.
Payroll, are payroll certified approved by the appropriate official?
So this is where I would mention that we have a separate section. Just to give
Maybe
you,
that's,
well, maybe I did shove it in here.
maybe you put it in there.
We have a written out payroll process and procedure that we follow. And then there is a payroll certification with each payroll that I review and sign, or if I were to be absent, Mike would review and sign. It shows how much each person is paid, their deductions. I look through it and make sure that all of a sudden somebody isn't receiving like a $5,000 check. Make sure there aren't any that stand out. I sign off on the department heads pay sheets. We also have a report that shows any sick or benefit time that's used.
Huh. And the next question is, are pay rates in accordance with collective bargaining agreements and other lawful employment contracts or board resolution?
Yes, they are.
And your schedule of salaries and hourly pay is now attached to your budget. like it's supposed to be.
Is leave time accounted for?
So leave time is accounted for before each pay period. Scott, I'm mentioning him specifically because
He has the most.
he has the most people. He gets a report of what people have. So if they're trying to use more vacation time or sick time than they have, he gets nipped beforehand. And then each person has one of these that shows any change through board resolution. I brought this up. Most of what I'm showing is actually this year's, but it's the same we do every month, but we just did payroll today. So all these are sitting instead of pulling out one from 2024 just to say it's 2024. It made better sense to show you how we do it with a 2025 one. And this was one that we changed by board resolution. And it'll include the resolution. That's something new we've started since the audit. So if we do a change, which would be somebody's pay, or this is John Swayze's because of the extra vacation time. And then as far as employee records, this is also due to a resolution. This is appointing Jason and his pay rate. I get one of these forms when people get a raise, and also when there is, there's a longevity pay. When people reach certain periods, they get a raise automatically. Whenever one of those comes through, we print out one of these forms and I sign off on it.
All right, that's the last question. Anyone have any further questions for the supervisor? Then I make a motion to accept the annual financial audit of the supervisor's office.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Any further questions or comments? My further question or comment is if anybody has a question, Includes if anybody's watching, if they want to come in, we're happy to review anything with you. The books are open.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Well, we never voted. We never voted. All in favor?
Alright, you gotta sign that too.
We all have to sign this. And do we need to
Yeah,
sign?
he's got
And
that one.
Sign this one.
do I sign that one, even though it's of me?
Yeah, I don't know if you signed that one. We're quorum without you.
Yeah, let's do
They're a
that.
quorum without you.
Let's do that, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that one too.
I second the motion to adjourn.
You told me I wouldn't get out of here.
Aye.
So who made the motion? You seconded it?
I made it.
That, wow.
She
I
let,
anticipated
Not me.
the
she
opposite
let him
way.
do it. She gave him
Just to
permission.
keep you on your toes, Jack.
Yeah, well, I anticipated the opposite direction.
I didn't do
So,
it.
all right, and did we do a motion to?
Adjourn, you can
You
get out
did, it's done.
if you want to.
Before.
No, I mean, I blanked so.
Hey, thanks for